benedictions, okay?
Oh, that boy said 5.
5.
We about to. We basically live, y'all.
Yeah, I see. We live.
Everybody, we back. Musicians behind the music. We in Hammond right now. With my fellas in Hammond, man. We got some special people on. It's real. I feel like I'm in the family with everybody right now, just because before we went live, man, we just sharing some little stories, and I can't wait to see what everybody got up next. So we're gonna start by introducing everybody. Jason Hodge, you start off, bro.
Hey, I'm Jason Hodge, proudly from Hammond, Louisiana, repping. And I'm glad to be on this Zoom call with video chat with all of these great people, and I'm excited to have this conversation.
Who next?
Next, let's see. Let's go to Dr. Monicure.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Maurice Monicure, and I'm glad to be here just in the midst of the room of greatness. This is the best of the best from Hammond, Louisiana. We ready, set, let's go.
Yes, sir. Brother Jermaine.
Yo, hey, I'm Jermaine Hart, drummer, man, from a little small town called Albany. So I always represent. Some of y'all may not ever heard of this in life, but Albany is a great little town, man. So, man, I'm excited to be on this call, man, this Zoom chat, man, and bring a lot of brothers back together I hadn't seen in a minute, and we go share some good stuff, man.
All right, Brother Jeremy.
I am Jerelmy Carr, middle name. Happy to be with the brother CJ, man. I appreciate you for putting this together, man. If it wasn't for you, man, to put yours together and showing love to the folks, man, we wouldn't put this together. So thank you, bro. Happy to be with you fellas. You guys who placed the responsibility on us, man, to approach music in the best way, man. I'm just happy to be a part of y'all.
Brother Keith.
All right, Pastor Tillman here, Keith Tillman. I thank God for you. I want to use Pastor Lamont Jackson's words. I'm the least of my brethren. There it is.
Yep, that's it. All right, Mr. Ray.
I'm E Carr Sr.
Hey.
Just glad to be here. I'm on my way from work, driving a truck.
Be careful.
Well, I'm actually in my car right now, but I'm on my way from work. I ain't even had a chance to clean myself up, man. That's what I get for having 5 children.
All right, Mr. Cox.
Robert Cox, glad to be a part of this process, and Zoom, thanking Brother CJ for having the vision and the passion to approach this and allow everyone to meet and express what they feel, what they learned, what they got from others. It's just a pleasure for me because I come from a line of people that believe in helping others. And, you know, this allows me to see that anything that I've done in my past, it wasn't in vain. So it's a pleasure to be here, a part of this group, and, you know, just share the stories and let everyone know what it is all about. You know, it's not about us, it's about what we do and who we serve. So I'm a part of be here.
Amen.
All right, my mama.
Hi, I'm Linda Hodge. This is my husband, Eugene. He's always by my side. And I'm the mother of Jason Hodge and J. Marcus Hodge. And I just feel like I really feel it an honor to be included with you young people. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Glad to have you.
All right, Jay.
Hey, everybody. I'm J. Marcus Hodge. See a lot of familiar faces on this chat. A lot of familiar faces. A lot of love in this chat room, and I can't wait to get this conversation started. Once again, learn from all the greats. Once again tonight, it's a pleasure to be here.
the dangerous Michael Jackson. Yes, sir.
And you took the words right out of my mouth. I am Pastor Michael Dangerous Jackson, Oklahoma. I am so excited about to share my story. I thank all the guys and Miss Hodge that's on the panel. I have great admirations for all of you guys, everybody here, and I'm just excited about this. And thank you guys for reaching out to the ones who sort of kind of paved the way for music as it is today and in that area. And so I just want to thank you all for including the old man.
Yes, sir. And let's see, Brother Ray
Mr.
Carr
Eugene,
Jr.
Mr. Eugene, you're looking good, Mr. Eugene. You're looking good.
Yo. Yeah, hey, how you doing? Ray Carr Jr. This when I first heard about this going on, like I was like, man, it's perfect opportunity to shed light on the people that was a big influence in our lives locally, you know what I'm saying? And get a chance to give people the insight of our upbringing musically. I'm kind of excited to see everybody and share the stories, man, and just to share with the world like the upbringing that we have. So if you like anything from us, my brothers and everything, like these are the people that help mold us into the men that we are today. And I'm just excited to share that with the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Let's get into the questions. I'm excited. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. My first question is basically, let's start from the beginning. Who were the people that y'all were looking up to as far as growing up in the area? As far as who inspired you as a musician to be great as you were, or to just start on the musician path? This is for who got
Mr. Keith. Mr. Keith.
Mr. Keith.
Okay. All right. God bless you. My dad played the organ for our group and for several churches. Thank God for him, the late Richard Kinney. He's gone on. But I sat there and I watched him and I was excited. But who really gave me a boost in life, who really gave me a super boost and excitement, was the Reverend Michael Jackson.
Oh, come
man.
He's on here,
man.
and even though my father's much older than Reverend Michael Jackson brought something to the table, and I saw him. He was preaching. He was on the organ, sliding his finger across the organ, and I was like, you had the Sweet Home Meal Course, and you had Maurice Monicure. And when I saw these guys, I was like, Jesus God Almighty. And it really gave me excitement, and it really made me go get it. And I would have to say, I became a little jealous because they were always bragging on him at the Albany High School. Michael Jackson. And they would come mess with me on purpose, Michael Jackson. So I got a little jealous. But long story short, the person that really gave me my style in life was the Reverend Michael Jackson. And then later on, I grabbed Tim Britton and put both of those styles together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Unique style.
Wow. Mr. Ray, what about you?
I became interested in guitar because I had an older brother. His name was Samuel Wilson, and the other brother, Woodrow Wilson. They both had guitars, and I just became fascinated some kind of way that they could play. And I started to learn from those two fellas, Sam and Wood, and they got me started. Now, my oldest brother, he told me that if he couldn't be the best at what he was doing, that he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to play anymore. So he took the guitar and put it down. So he put it over in a corner and I picked it up. And I started playing what he had taught me. And my cousin, Carl McCaskey, we got together and we started to work on it with that. And matter of fact, up until that time, up until now, since he was left-handed, we were the only two people that I know. I would play bass and he would play lead on the same guitar at the same time when we were like teenagers.
Whoa.
And so they got us started. And a lot of influences along the line. When I started out with quartet, I started out with the Golden Stars from Ponchatoula with Curtis Davis and Antoine Jackson and all those guys. And then after they gave me a start, I later on switched over to the Southern Stars with Lee McCaskey. Yeah. And that's where I got the name Soul Man from Lee McCaskey. He'd always tell me, I can tell by the way you walk, you got soul. Yeah. So that's what I really enjoyed was the quartet stuff. And I started out with that, and then I, now we was the kind of guys, we did quartet and stuff and church stuff too, but Saturday nights, man, we were trying to play at James Brown too. But yeah, I had a lot of influences. I tried to learn along the way. Aaron Stampley, different ones. Teach me different things, and I try to pass it along. Whatever I learned along with the guys. That's just a brief of what started me. Really, what started me was my oldest brothers, Sam and Wood.
Oh, that's great. Miss Linda, what about you?
Okay, my dad played organ and he played piano, he played the accordion, and he played the harmonica. Jesus. So yeah, he did. And when I was 10 years old, my grandmother put me in piano lessons. So basically I learned how to play by notes. And I started playing for an AME church when I was about 14, I guess. And that's when I discovered that I could play by ear, although I kind of leaned towards the, playing by notes, I could play by ear as well. So I'm still active. I still play for an AME Zion church. And don't know when I'm going to be retiring, but that was my dad was my influence.
That's great. He played everything too. Lord have mercy. He was a musician.
He was the man.
Jason and J. Marcus, now I know where y'all got y'all ear from. That makes sense now.
Dr. Maurice, let's go to you, Dr. Maurice.
Yes, sir. Well, when I came to Hammond in '80, I was coming from New Orleans, where I had my famous god brother, Clayton Harold Neal, who was a musician for Greater St. Stephen's. And that's before Bishop Martin. Pastor Simpson was the musician. And he gave me a look, and I always said, I want to do that. By him being my god brother, I thought he would help. And I come up there, and he said, get back, go over there, sit down somewhere. And so he was my target. And when I came to Hammond in '80, I met my best friend and my brother, Michael Jackson, who was crazy and crazy and who was crazy and crazy. And we fell just brotherhood, in love with one another, just knowing that we were going to do some great work. And when I came to Hammond, my first step was Greenfield Baptist Church. And if you know the professor himself, God bless him and may he rest in peace, Jan Youngblood, the greatest musician that I would ever know. Jan was a great musician, along with Kathy Roberts. Kathy Roberts, who's the sister of Timothy Thompson, who used to play for Creflo Dollar in Atlanta. And that was a musician at Greenfield. After meeting Dr. Jackson at Hammond High, and Sherry Brown introduced us because y'all had beat. Maurice said he can outplay you. Yeah. And then he come with his ignorant self, say, tell him, come on, I got him. And so I said, okay. And we met in the music room. And from that day to this one, we've been best friends and brothers. We love each other and we love all you musicians, and just sharing that and seeing the male chorus march into Greenfield Missionary Baptist Church for our anniversary, and Leon Pines. And when I say the best of the best, he was playing the male chorus march and I was just on the piano. The next thing I know, I was out at Sweet Home Missionary Baptist Church in Albany, Louisiana, the state capital of Cafe Line Road. And we was there and saw that men and became my brothers. And like I always share, if you want to see a church grow, look for a bunch of men that's on one unity. And that was a blessing to me. And from there to this day forward, man, listen, that's where I'm at, and that's who I am.
That's great. That's great. Mr. Cox, what about you?
Oh, it's a nice journey that I took. Always been in music. Always loved music. As Brother Carl was just saying, I've been around, practice around at my aunt's house over there on Sun Lane, and just loving music. But the drumming came into play, I would say, when we were at Mount Vernon Church. I mean, I've been a part of the Seventh of Church of God in Christ. I've been a part of Mount Vernon, Sweet Home, all those churches. But it had a drummer that played with a group called the True Friends by the name of Richard Parker.
That's right.
Mr. Parker decided that he was gonna bring some drums to Mount Vernon, and when he bought the drums, I kind of became attracted to the drums. So Michael was around there playing at the time, and me and Michael would rehearse, and we just got together on playing, and it just went from there. And you know, I played with Brother Tillman over at Brother Blake's Nim Church, and you know, it's just love. But the most joy that I got out of it was seeing the Jermaines and the J. Marcus and Marcus Hodge and Scandalf, these guys coming up and just developing that same passion. So when I saw those guys, then, you know, it made me dig a little bit deeper. We got the Jackson Ensemble together. Micah had the Jackson Ensemble. We played with the Jackson Ensemble. We traveled, we ventured, we sing groups for as Avondale Community Choir. The guy Buffy was a great drummer, learned a lot from Buffy. We traveled to Baton Rouge, got with Brother Kenny Mitchell, the Voices of Praise. He had a guy there by the name of David Anderson. And, you know, these guys were just magnificent drummers, and to just sit back and see these guys play, you know, it just made me want to be better. And that's all they ever strived for, you know. So it was just a joy. It was a joy. And it's still a joy because I'm currently still playing over at Mount Vernon now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's great. All right, Mr. The dominant one, the most dangerous one. We need to hear from you.
Oh man, well, wow. Hey, man, well, I thank God for the influence that I had on my brothers, and I'm so glad y'all exceeded me, man. You guys are way better than me. My posse right there, my posse. Robert Cox and I played a long time. Maurice, my best friend. And when Keith started playing, he just excelled. So, but my first start, here's how I got my first start. I was young. I was singing. I was always a singer. I used to sing at Seventh-day Adventist Church. Every Sabbath I would go to Seventh-day Adventist and sing. But I wanted to play music. I was always a guitarist. For some reason, I just picked up the guitar and started playing one day, and it just came natural. My father was a guitarist, and I joined the Southern Stars along with E Carr Sr. He and I started playing together with Lee McCaskey and James Jones and those guys. And my mother was a singer as well, and people would ask her to come and sing different churches, and Mama didn't have a musician. And so one day, Reverend Ernest Carter, God bless him, the late Reverend Ernest Carter came to my mother's house and said, I see something in this young man. Why don't you let him take piano lessons? And so I started taking piano lessons under Miss Myrtle Cook. Miss Myrtle Cook taught me how to play. That's how I became a pianist. In all actuality, I taught myself how to play the organ. I taught myself how to, the features of the organ and all of that. I asked the Lord, I prayed, I told my mother, I didn't want to play like nobody else. I used to hear the dead style kind of music back then. They would sing that Mary, don't you weep, and this, and blah. And I'm like, Lord, I'm not trying to do none of that. Miss Hodge, you know what I'm talking about. those old dead dry stuff. And I'm like, Lord, I can't take this. And I prayed and asked the Lord to give me a unique style. And from then, that's why I started playing. And when I saw Jan Youngblood and David Morris, when I saw them play, I'm like, okay, that's kind of what I want to do right there. Jan Youngblood was phenomenal. And I'm like, okay, that's what I want, Lord. That's what I want. And so God anointed me to play. And he gave me, I would say, a unique style. He just gave me something that I treasure. And so that's how I got my start. And I started playing for my mother, and which is always a great thing, man. Every time I come home, I got to play for my mother. I will not let anybody play for my mother. So that's kind of how I got my start. And I thank God I played with Ray Carr Sr. I played with Ray Carr Jr., Jeremy, that's 2 generations. And I had the opportunity to play with Ray Jr.'s daughter with the Martin Luther King program each year. So I played with 3 generations there. And this young man came from New Orleans, and we hit it on. Brother Maurice, we hit it on. Brother Robert Cox and I have been playing together we played together for over 20 years. Over 20 years we played, and picked up a few friends along the way. But what inspired me to start the Jackson Ensemble, and I'll be through in 1 second. What inspired me to start the Jackson Ensemble is I heard Richard Smallwood. When I heard Richard Smallwood and the Smallwood Singers, it like blew my mind. I'm like, okay, I've got to get a group together, a group of singers, and we're going to just go and do it. And so he was the one that inspired me to do workshops and different stuff like that. So it was because of the late Ernest Carter asking my mother to let me take piano lessons. That's how I got my start in piano. And I thank God for it, and I thank God for you guys. So I've had a good journey. I still play. I play for my church sometimes. I have a band here, but every now and then they let the old man play. You know, you know. And I want to say this. I want to throw this in. That I think what made me different from other musicians, and you guys are great, are still great. That Keith Tillman is just I love Keith. Jason, you already know how I feel about you, dude. You already know that. It wasn't the fact that I could play so well. It was the anointing that God had on my life. Yeah. And that's the thing that made me different from every other musician. Now, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying what made me different was not that I was so good. It was because of the anointing, and I allowed the Lord to lead me in my playing, in my singing. So that's me. That's the beginning of Dangerous Michael Jackson.
I wish I could. Just hearing the stories made me want to go back and see it. You know what I mean? Just hearing it from my brother, it just put me in that area. Say, okay, I want to go back and see this now. But it's a pleasure to meet all y'all, to hear everybody's story, man. I feel like I was around now just from hearing all of these stories. Mr. Keith, I know you got somewhere to go, so let's talk to you. So with the Dangerous Michael Jackson and with these other brothers and sisters that we have on here, like, what was y'all band situation like? Did y'all have a full band back in the day? Were you just holding it down yourself? You know, how was that?
All right, and this is directed at me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and one thing, if you don't mind letting me say, my mother too prayed for my fingers when I was a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
She prayed over my fingers, and I didn't get to tell you that. And there was a young lady by the name of Trina that lived in Independence that taught me a song in the key of A flat. And from that song, I started playing the keys. Okay, yeah. I didn't tell you that. Okay, and so
that's important information, Mr. Keith. That's important information you left out.
Yes, I didn't. And another thing I didn't tell you, if you will, my dad would play, and my mother would sing "Walk Around Heaven." And the way I started, my dad did not teach me how to play. He did not teach me. I just kept going over there to the keyboard, touching on it, and I was playing like a C and an E only. I was just playing 2 notes instead of 3 notes. Yeah. But I learned the song. And from that, I started playing this song, "We Are the World" came out. I learned that song. And from there, it took off. Amen. And so now, to go back to your question, did we have a band? All right. Did we have a band? Oh my goodness. Well, I think what we could tell you is there was a time that we were holding it down ourselves.
Yes.
Because for years, because I started out at the Baker's Chapel AME Church. And I started playing at St. James Baptist Church in Tickfall. $10 a rehearsal and $25 on Sunday.
Come on, brother.
Better than a hamburger.
And wow, things have changed. But look, we didn't. Pastor Michael Jackson, Maurice Monicure, those guys always had drummers. Always. Man, I started in '85 playing, and I got linked up with a drummer in 1991. So to answer that question, and for years, I had to hold it down by myself. And not only that, I mean, I think some of the younger musicians, you guys, like Tim Britton was afforded a luxury that me and Pastor Michael Jackson didn't get, and Maurice Monicure. He had Kenneth Mitchell teaching the parts for him. Yes. We had to lead the song. Yes. We had to teach the parts. We had to make sure the choir stayed in harmony. And if we did have a drummer, long story short, we had to hold it down by ourselves. And I didn't get a band until 1991. And that was when the great Robert Cox, amen, and the brother E Carr Sr. joined me at New Home. And then we ended up with a band, but we had to hold it down by ourselves.
Oh, Miss Linda, what about you? You said you played in like AME churches and stuff. Did y'all have a band?
No, actually, right. I played in AME churches. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so I was in the Seventh-day Adventist church, and we definitely did not have a band. I had to hold it. And it was not until Brother Ray Carr joined the church that we actually got to get some guitar. We got off of the organ and the piano. We got the guitar, and that was the beginning of it all. And when we finally got a band, I was just kind of the extension of the crew, which included Jason, Jeremy, Ray, and all them. So they kind of let me play every now and then. So no, but I did not have a band when I started. They let me play at concerts, have 1 or 2 pieces.
So Mr. Ray, basically you were the band person. You put the bands together. When you come around, you bring the band with you, huh, Mr. Ray?
Yeah. Can you imagine joining a church? And I was a guitar player, and then they look at you like they had never had anybody play guitar. And I started playing guitar, and whenever I would play, you know, they instead of saying I'll remind them of gospel, somebody gospel, they'll say what's the guy that kick it? Chuck Berry. I would remind them of
Chuck Berry,
Chuck
yes,
Berry
sir.
or somebody like that. And matter of fact, I did a little Chuck Berry too.
Yep. I did.
When we were in San Antonio, I did a little Chuck Berry, and look, I tell you, man, when I started, the first drummer that we had was Glenn Harrington.
Glenn Harrington, that's right.
And then Glenn and Reggie. Then Glenn used to take J. Marcus and set J. Marcus up on his leg, and Glenn taught J. Marcus how to play when he was a little boy.
Facts.
But
Him and Reggie. Yes, sir.
at one point in time, all I had was a bass guitar, and I took a group of kids. We called them God's children.
God's children. I was
And
singing.
that we didn't even have a children's choir at that time. And I would take those kids, and all we had was a bass guitar. And could you imagine me playing Whitley Phipps with just bass guitar and them singing? But we did it.
That's right.
And we went off places. We went off places doing it, like Alexandria or wherever we went. We you know, I was there. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
That's facts. That's facts. Let's go back to Mr. Keith, because like I said, I know Mr. Keith got to get out on here, but I want Jason and the younger guys, I want y'all to kind of share some stories that y'all had with Mr. Keith before he get out about Mr. Keith, just to let him know that y'all was checking him out back in the day, or still to this day.
Oh my goodness.
This was actually, I got to check out all of them actually on this one VHS tape, man. My dad used to record everything. So there was this big old concert musical at Macedonia. So Mike was there, Maurice was there, Rob was there, Keith was there playing with Chris Keith on keys, and I studied that tape backwards and forwards. That's how I remember, Mike, I told you, that's the tape I listened to learn how you played for your mother.
Yeah.
So when I got that opportunity, and when she turned back and said, "You sound just like Michael," I was like, "Yeah, I know, because I stole it from the tape that I used to study all the time." I play it verbatim. So yeah, man, Keith, he had some of the fastest hands I ever seen.
Yes, indeed.
Like he was just, it was just so fast. I'm like, I couldn't believe, that an organist could move their hands that fast. So that was the first thing that wowed me when I saw him. And I always tell him that. And he still has it to this day, no matter how much he try to tell you he don't practice no more. Yeah, right. Just walk into a service that he's playing that you don't know he's there,
and you'll know.
Hear it.
That's fire. Who's next?
Well, I'll go next, man. I used to be that little kid. I got a chance to experience like most of the stuff live, because I was always, even when my dad was playing guitar, I was always right there by his side, just right there hanging on his leg, and just got a chance to watch everybody real time. It's so many. It's hard for me just to really bring out a story, but I got a chance to sit alongside where he used to travel with the male chorus. Originally, I wanted to play guitar because Pops had a white Peavey guitar, and I used to sit there and watch him play for the male chorus, man, and watch, Minister Mike, Keith, and all of them. My dad used to just have us around. Like, it was nowhere that Dad went that he didn't take us with him. So, man, in rehearsals and stuff like that, I remember seeing Mr. Keith when y'all used to play right over there at that new home, when they first kicked out the new home right up here, man. And sitting in rehearsals and watching them go through the rehearsals and things like that. I wanted to be a drummer, so I used to sit back and watch Jermaine, Reg Matthews, man, Robert Cox is like, man, I was I was like starstruck by these guys. Hey, even like Stephon, watching him come through. That's another one that like kind of, you know, I got a chance to see Stephon and man, Skandar and stuff like that. So being with Pops, man, it's too many stories that I could just really kind of go through the musical. But just, man, it was always crazy watching that being there real time. And I was always a little kid dancing on the side. You know what I'm saying? Just catching it, you know.
Anybody
Yeah,
else got a story about me?
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
Like Ray said, Dad had us everywhere. Like when I say everywhere, and I was a mama's boy, so I always wanted to stay at home up under my mom. But Dad was like, "Hey, boy, you need to come on with me." So, as a little kid, man, I would be at New Home while my dad was there, and on Sundays, you know, they would be there after church watching the Saints game because I think Pastor Blake's, he always wanted to catch the Saints game or whatever. So while they was in there watching the game, I would go sneak over on the drums. And you know, at the time, I wasn't all that good at all. And Mr. Key was like, "Hey man, get off the drums, get off the drums, get off the drums." And I kept at it, you know what I'm saying, until one day he said, "You know what, young man, if you keep at it, man, you're gonna get better." So that just kind of stuck with me or whatever. But that's one of the stories that I remember about Mr. Keith, man. You know, he most definitely, hey, get off the drums. Watching the game in the back, get off the drums. That's one of the stories I got on Mr. Keith.
Jermaine, you got one about Mr. Keith?
Yeah, most definitely, man. Actually, man, Pastor Tillman, I call him Bishop, but man, we go way back. You go back from Audrey Tillman and the Tillman Singers. I remember him mostly from growing up as a musician, man. Like I'm like, I used to look at this guy, and me having to play drums. Sometimes, you know, you get caught up into how well somebody else is playing. You know, you feeling it, but man, when you just get caught up in the moment because you can't stop looking at somebody else play, that was key. Like he was one of the first guys I knew that had played with two-hand cards. You know, most people running bass and playing card, but carding with both hands, that was key. Like his card was like amazing. And so me as a drummer, you know, I've been raised, man, like my start, man, from a family of music. And so I've always had an ear for music. So I hear everything, whether it's keys, bass, whatever part, I hear every part. And but playing with Keith, man, it was like a lot of times I get caught up in playing, like I get stuck just looking, just watching him. Like, man, this dude is killing over here. And so he was one of them brothers that always encouraged me that, you know, I'm like Jeremy. In my era, in my time growing up, it was like, I really didn't have so many people that I can learn from, but you got your people like the Robert Cox that I came up under, man. Like hearing Robert Cox, it was like, man, that dude's killing it. You had people like that was already playing. I started at 10, man, and I was kind of forced into playing. I didn't know it was in me. I have an older cousin. I don't know if you guys remember the Christian Brothers. That's another group that Keith was a part of. Yeah. The Christian Brothers. And I had a cousin, Darren Hart, on drums. And Darren, and nobody, you guys probably don't know Darren, but Darren was the drummer, man. And I used to watch him all the time, like, man, I want to be like my cousin. So one day after they had a little musical at the association building on Old Baton Rouge Highway, Darren got off the drums, then Keith and all of them were still playing. So Darren wanted to sing. Those that don't know Darren liked to sing as well. He's a drummer, but he likes to sing.
Right.
Everything was over, so they was all clowning around. So Darren gets on the mic, and so I just jump on the drums. You know, not being taught, so I jump on the drums. They start singing, and I'm holding the beat down. So I turn around, like, man, who taught you that? But it was in me. So it's kind of like I got my start from just watching, man, my family, just growing up, just watching them and watching. And then Mark Afferly, he's gone with, you know, he's one of the greats, Alfred Hart. Yes. Thank the Lord. And he looked around and said, hey, you're going to be our church drummer. And this was Sweet Home Baptist Church. I'm like, nah, I'm not playing the drum. I'm 10, like, man, I'm not trying to get in front of people. No, you gonna be our church drummer. And so that's kind of where my start comes from. It was like I was forced into it. So those that know JR was playing drums at the time as well. So we was kind of swapping in and out. But growing up during that era when you got the Michaels, you got the Keith, Maurice, it's like you messing up on anything, they fussing at you.
Yeah,
They hard on you. It ain't like just because you just starting, I'm gonna just let you slide. Nah, you better come on, you're slowing down, you're speeding up. So it was tough on me. And so, but it groomed me and it shaped me and made me who I am. So the people like that made me the drummer that I am. So long story short, man, it was like coming up under you guys, man. Keith, man, he's always been just, man, uplifting every time. Like, hey, man, you the man. I'm like, nah, man. I'm trying to say, like, no, man, you got it, bro. So I appreciate, man, all those years of, man, you've always been encouraging. You know, I come to church. It feels good when you come to the church, and not that I like to replace nobody. And so as soon as I get there, like, hey, you come on, get on the drums. I'm like, man, I didn't come here to play, but when I'm asked to play, I'm gonna do it. So I appreciate it, man. So that's my story, Brother Keith. I got a lot of stuff. We'll get into that, man. But that's my stories about.
I hope we don't have you late, Mr. Keith. I hope we don't have you late. I just wanted you to make sure you get some of this. Let these people tell you what they felt about you. You know.
Well, what I did is I jumped in the car, and so I'm here at the church waiting for church to start. So I forgot I can drive and be on Zoom too.
Okay. Well, look,
what you think I was doing?
Yeah, that's my first time driving and being on Zoom. Yes.
I think one of the most interesting stories that I'm finding out just from all of that, all of y'all kind of got the opportunity to play together. And I think that's super dope that we have all of y'all on here that's in this one area that's showing community. You know what I mean? It's about community. It's about helping each other. It's about giving back. And every one of y'all, every time I listen to a story, y'all name somebody else that's already on this thread or somebody else that, you know, and it's a blessing to be able to be around people that help raise the younger generation that we have on here. And like Jason is my big brother, J Marcus is my brother, Jeremy is my brother, Ray is my brother. And just to see where they come from and to see their upbringing and to hear from the stories is I can see the discipline in the musician and discipline as a person as well, just from learning from you guys. And I just want all y'all to know it's a blessing to meet y'all. It's great for y'all to even let me on the call. I told my brothers, I appreciate y'all for letting me be a part of this. And I feel like I'm in the family now. So
yeah.
All right, let's go back. So Miss Linda, let's go back to this because you have some kids on here. And how was that raising these boys?
Actually, I can truly say that it was very easy raising. We were blessed. Well, my husband and I always look back, to our start, and this little house with one bathroom. There were 8 of us in here. We had 6 kids. Wow. 6 kids and my husband and I, and they were easy to raise. We were disciplinarians, not too stiff disciplinarians, but they were really easy kids. We were blessed that way, and there was always music in our house. I can say that. I played the piano, and when Jason was 4 years old, we bought Jason an organ, and my husband always laughs at the fact that when we went in there, the salesperson said, well, we don't let kids play on the instruments, because Jason was checking them out. And my husband said, we're buying the organ for him. And he couldn't believe that we were buying it for a 4-year-old kid. So Jason showed an interest in music almost as soon as he was born. I have a picture of him when he was 5 months old, sitting on my lap with his hand on the piano. And it looked like he could just take off. Raising and J Marcus, he was a natural drummer. I have I still have pots and pans here with dents under the bottom.
Jay, you better get some more pots for moms, bro.
Yeah, Magnolites.
I definitely owe you. I definitely owe you.
Tupperware bowls, all that, you know. But they were good, and the fact that they were in church and they liked music and they were active and I have to give accolades to Brother Ray Carr, because Brother Ray Carr took them under his wings and he took them to churches. He helped them get little gigs at the churches, and he taught them an awful lot. And I have to give that to him. And his boys, Ray Carr Jr. and Jeremy, were always at the house. We always had music going in the house. Sometimes my husband and I would be in there, and we would just, it didn't bother us. We could go to sleep because they were and the band. So it was easy raising them. And I'm just really proud of the young men that they've become and what they are continuing to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ray, it's funny, Brandon, our homie Brandon Butler just said you was the Adam Blackstone of putting people on.
He put everybody on.
Yeah.
Mr. Ray, that's the same question goes to you. How is that raising all these kids? Because I mean, you and Miss Linda both kind of had adopted kids from the Hodges to the Carrs. Y'all kind of basically were together. So like, how was that raising all these boys, bro, and these musicians?
It was a lot of fun, because that's the good thing about joining a church, joining the Adventist church too. So you call each other brother and sister.
All right.
So you actually are brother and sister. So that family, the Hodge family, became like the other side of our family. We're just like Jeremy and Ray was brother and sister to Jason and J. Marcus and Kim and Donita and all of those over there. So it was like our families became intertwined really like that. And so it was and is a lot of fun. And let me say this, the thing that I like about all of you guys playing with you is that you are never so good that you thought that you were better, that you couldn't play with somebody. You always humble. And that if somebody came and sit in with you, I've never seen any of you guys like embarrass another musician that couldn't play as well. And I always tell everybody it was so easy for me to play with Jason, because Jason doesn't play loud. And even if I mess up, Mike, I wouldn't talk about you, but
yeah, I caught that.
I don't have to break my strings playing with Jason. You know what I mean? But it's so easy to play with him, because I don't know whether it's because we played so much at the church, but it was real easy to play with Jason, and he's humble. All you guys are humble, and that's what I like about playing. I can play with Keith, I can play with Michael, I can play with Maurice, and you guys never make me, when I hit a bad note, you never make me feel what was that? I want this other guy to play. But I really enjoyed it. And I still enjoy it. Like Michael was saying, I never thought I would get a chance to play with my sons and my granddaughter. Whole different generations of being around to play with, and all the different ones that I really enjoyed playing with Jan, because Jan would always give me like a little bass line. Said, look, I want you to do this bass line and give me a little challenge. And I'd go home and work on it, and until I get it right. Playing a 4-string bass at the time, I had to tune down to 3 frets to get the low notes.
Yeah.
So, and I passed that on to my son and the other guitar players and bass players that I taught how to play, but I really enjoyed it.
Y'all are really responsible for a lot of music history just from those two last names. I know those two names are known all over the world for sure. I'm happy I know them, and they really make a statement.
Yo,
wherever
CJ,
they are. What's up, bro?
we got somebody else on, man. Stephon
Uh-oh.
Stone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
Yeah.
What's
Yes,
up, bro? How
sir.
you
Big
doing?
bro.
Introduce yourself. Tell everybody.
Big bro. Name's Stephon Stone Sr.
All right.
Cousin, what's going on? I've had a chance to play with all these great legends on here tonight. Michael, Maurice, Miss Ray, Pastor Keith. You know, Micah and Maurice, they was Imminent Production back in the days, you know.
Yeah.
I was definitely gonna bring that up.
Yeah. You know what? I realized today, man, that Michael and Maurice stripped themselves so thin, they played for everybody. Yeah. You didn't have that type of music in that era coming up in those days, so everybody wanted that sound. Everybody wanted to hear that sound that they had, and Michael directed, Maurice he played, and back in the days, you know, they did work every week. There was a workshop somewhere.
We were hungry. We was hungry.
Yeah. And man, they'll wear you out this week with a workshop, next week workshop, but every week there was a workshop. So we don't even have workshop. Yeah.
That's facts.
That's something that, you know, you had a chance to experience. You know, Michael would teach the parts, voices, how to breathe. You know, they did all that, man. And I just thank God I got a chance, you know, play with these guys. Originally, I started as a drummer.
Yep.
I started as a drummer in the. I always wanted to play drums as a child, but I didn't get my opportunity to become the drummer until about 12 years old. Now, from the time I was born until 12 years old, I never had a drum set. I always wanted a drum set. Now, I know these guys now, they've had maybe 8 or 9 drum sets in a lifetime. I've only had one drum set. The one my grandmother bought me at 12 in 1984. It was 1984. The same drum set. Now, y'all can all say you want, but that one drum set. You know, back in the days, you know, your parents couldn't really afford those type of things. You know, like, you know, we can afford a whole lot of things now because time has changed. God has blessed and made, you know, ways and better opportunities for us. But at that time, being raised by my grandmother, you know, my mom had passed. My sister, my other sister, my grandparents, they couldn't afford it. So I cherished that drum set.
That's right.
So up until that point, up until now, and I still have some of the parts. Now, some of the other parts, my son, my oldest son, and my baby boy, they kind of somewhere else, but I still have some of them. You know, I still have some of the parts. But coming up under drummers like Mark Francis, Anthony Hagan, Mark Cook, even Robert Cox, and I've got a chance to play with Miss Minster Carlton, Charles Coleman, Keith Daddy, Mr. Richard Kenny, Mr. Pines, Miss White, Miss Alberta, Miss Linda, Miss Sandra Jackson, and a whole lot more, you know, coming up as musicians. So I think that I was able to come up under that era where I can appreciate the musicians that came before me,
musicians that came after me, Jason and Red, Jermaine, Jeremy, and Ray Jr. Oh man, these guys are just awesome. It's nice to see
Man, thank you, man. Thank you.
this music where we couldn't take it. They take it above and beyond.
Yeah.
And coming up in my era, a lot of churches didn't have drums. I went to a lot of churches and I brought drums to a lot of churches. Mr. Walter Ard used to come get me on Saturday mornings. And I would get my set, pack my set, take it over there, and play for the, Emmanuel 7th Day. That's before that drum. Then he bought that White Pearl set. Then my Reggie started playing, and then that's where you get the rest of them on down the line come from. And also, I got a chance to Mount Pleasant didn't have drums. Mount Moriah, St. Paul, St. James. So I introduced the drums as a drummer to a lot of churches that didn't have drums. Like, you know, you had your piano players and so on and so forth, but you know, you didn't have drummers. So I thank God that I've got a chance, you know, to play with all these legends and these younger generation, you know, young guys. But I want to say this before I turn it back over, that I would like to see that the younger generation appreciate where you come from, know where you come from, and where you going. And I say this, you know, no matter what we had, if we didn't have a foot pedal, a snare, whatever was missing on that drum set, it didn't matter.
You played anyway. Yeah.
You played anyway. But these young guys now, I don't have no snare.
Yeah.
What you didn't have.
That's right. Yes.
It wasn't no such thing what you didn't have, or it don't sound whatever. You played. You didn't make grandma, you didn't make mama sing. They was there to give God the praise. And that's what we did. It wasn't no such thing. But I don't have no stick. But you better go out there and get some off that tree.
Some switches. Get some switches.
Hangers.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right, them hangers, man.
Hangers and everything.
Whatever was necessary. And that's what we did. I feel like the younger generation, because the drum set don't sound like this, that when you go places, you got to understand where you come from and where you going. And we didn't go nowhere and make nobody shame, embarrassed. I don't like that little cheap list. We played. We did whatever was necessary.
Whatever. That's right.
And so the younger generation, just to know, you know, they might not have a $10,000 set, but you know, whatever it is, it started from somewhere, and you start from somewhere.
Right.
And so just learn to love and appreciate the blessing that, you know, you afforded now to have all the different type of, you know, things to go with the drum, the different types of this and different types of that. It's a blessing, you know.
Yes, sir.
That's real, man. That's crazy that you said that, because I mean, I know we didn't all been to some churches that was tore up, the instrument was tore up. And I know me personally, I was like, man, I don't want to play on that kit. But now I say that, but I always do it. You don't have no choice. Like, what you gonna do? You gonna go get another drum set from somewhere? But you still in your mind until somebody put it in perspective. You're like, wait, you know what? Other people, they ain't have no DW9000, or they ain't have this, you know what I mean, this foot pedal. So the appreciation, man, you're right. The appreciation definitely is needed. And
CJ, man, I remember when me and J Marcus, we didn't have a Hyde clutch for some weird apparent reason. So we would take turns playing, and I would hold a hi-hat while he was playing and open it up when it needed to be opened up, and you know, hold it with my hand while he still, and we would switch and do that until we got
Those
us a
guys are
hi-hat
good.
clutch.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real,
Wow.
bro. Cause
Hey,
that hi-hat did some work, my boy. So
I know you
listen.
remember that song.
Well, you boy playing double drums, man. We was playing double drums on one set, man.
One set.
One kit. Yes, sir, man. Yeah,
Jason,
I remember.
Jason, I know you got a lot of stories about these people on here, man. Let's go with the stories, bro. Start bringing them out.
Man, well, I already let one out the bag about the video, man. But I really want to ask Mike and Maurice about Imminent Productions, man. What made y'all come up with that, man? Because I remember y'all brought John down, and for some reason I didn't know about the concert. Mr. Ray knew, and he asked me, was I going? And I was mad because I didn't know about it. Some kind of way he got me a ticket. And I was with Stephon and Mr. Ray, and we watched John. But y'all brought them down. So, like, what made y'all come up with, Imminent Production?
Before Maurice come in, I'm gonna be honest. I was the silent M in the M. Maurice was the head and the brain of the operation, and I just got the work done that he needed to have done. But he made a few calls, and I'll let him tell you that part of it. But in all actuality, when we became best friends, he came up with the name Imminent Production, and we got certified with the state, and it's incorporated, Imminent Productions. Now, go ahead, Reese.
Right. And because what you guys are doing for us, we were trying to do in our past. Because a man that looks back and forgets where he comes from really don't know where he's going. And when Imminent Production came into play, it started with the award show. We used to have the Imminent Productions Award.
Yeah.
Where we would just appreciate everybody. And we talked about Miss Myrtle Cook and all of Miss Alexander, Creola Alexander, and all of the great of Mr. Rovan Stanley. And the name that I haven't heard today, Terry Hart. I mean,
he was coming up. Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, yes, because and we loved each other. We loved each other, and we stayed in our own lane. And when I told you it was the best of the best, it was the best of the best because we gave our best. We couldn't give nothing else but our best because we know what we could do as individuals, but then we know what we could do collectively. We come to take over the city. And so Imminent Production, that's how it all happens with one, because the Bible says where there's two or three touching and agreeing on the same accord, that he said he would be a God in the midst of. So we tried him for his word. And so he was a God in the midst of. And so when we brought John here, man, listen, that was just a faith movement. Because even in that year of, was that 94 or whatever year that was, we brought John here. That was a $7,500 ticket. And nobody never knew that. My mom had to go to the bank that Monday morning, and I had my brother give me this and had him give me that. John could get his money. But we were all together. And when you said Imminent Production, that included everybody. It just wasn't Maurice and Michael. It was everybody included. And that's where we started from then. And my drummer, and I've heard all of these drummers, Mr. Carl B. Weary. God bless him, and may he rest in peace. We went got him from the Chicken Shack on Washington Avenue. I don't know.
Boy, shut up.
He got Carl Weary from the Chicken Shack and became my drummer at Macedonia. So I had Carl B. Weary, and then Michael had Robert Cox over there. So when we went together, it wasn't nothing but unity. We just went off because we served a God that was able to do anything. And when we came into service, like I was sharing earlier, we wanted to shout. We had to shout. So and that was our thing with Imminent Production, making everybody somebody.
Yeah. Man,
that's
inspiration right there. Yeah, that was super inspiring.
That was inspiring, man. I when I was thinking about that, I'm like, bro, entrepreneurship, at that time, man, that's really what, that seems like the wave now. Everybody want to be an entrepreneur. they was doing that back then, man. And I know to get, you know, those artists down, that's money, man.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know, that,
man.
to have brothers come together and be able to do that, that was huge. Man.
And let me say this, my brother and my sisters, we didn't have the paper that they have now. Drummers are making more now than we made in a year's time playing.
Come on.
You know, we were glad if we can go get a double meat whopper with cheese cut in half, and bacon with no onions, and a shake.
And you know, we had to share that sandwich, Maurice.
Yes, indeed.
You and I had to share that sandwich there, man.
Sure did. We went all the way to Kenwood, Louisiana, to this great Baptist church, and he gave us $3.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
$3.
That's right. Didn't even have gas to get back home. Didn't have gas to get home.
That's right, $3. But we've been to places for nothing. But we've had the best time in some places for nothing than when we've got paid.
That's facts.
Because the people was rewarded for it.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. So the next story, man, I'm gonna everybody know Robert Cox, you know, as a drummer. But man, when me and Jay was with him, he was directing the choir.
Yeah.
Well, come on now.
Hey,
never heard this one.
He directed the choir. And he had them in shape too. It was already big because I'm coming behind Michael Jackson at Mount Vernon. That's huge to me. So I'm like, okay, but they with me, they supporting me. My brother came with my little brother came with me. You know, Robert was showing him stuff on the drums, and he became the drummer. And Robert moved to the choir.
Tell you, man. Anybody talk about my foot? Because that's the one thing a lot of people say about my. I'm not a kind of guy that brags to talk on myself, but I always notice everybody talk about how strong my foot is, and I credit it with making up for my hands because my hands were never fast. I wasn't a drummer who played in the band and learned rudiments and stuff. You know, I stole all that from Jermaine. But my foot, man, I never forget, man. Robert drilled me on my foot and gave me workouts to do at the house on my foot. And I promise you, next time Reg Matthews heard me, he said, "Man, that foot is powerful, but you can ease up on the doubling." Look, I was, you couldn't stop me from doubling. Once you showed me that, bro, I took it. Yeah,
Rob had
that's
that,
all
man.
Rob, man.
Rob had that choir in shape, man, and we was going places, man. That was a great experience, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, one thing you can't leave out, big bro, about hanging with Rob, the Powerades afterward, man.
Oh man, Powerades in the truck, man. I used to love the sound of the truck.
We always go stopping by some Powerade, man. I look forward to that more than anything, more than you know, man. Something as simple as that, man. You always showed us love, bro.
That just shows his versatility, man. You know, not just a drummer, but he could actually step away from that and be over the choir, get them together, man. It was sounding great. Man, I was really impressed by that because I didn't know. All I knew was Rob the drummer. It was Rob the director, man. I was like, whoa. That's my story of them. But man, when I go backwards, man, to the beginning, you know, my mama told you, you know, they bought me an organ at 4. I used to sit there, man. She was my first inspiration, you know, just seeing her play. And I'd be sitting right next to her on the organ, making noise. But to her, it made sense. So, you know, being inspired by her. We mentioned Jan Youngblood. He played at my church. He was a big inspiration, you know, never, you know, got to have one-on-one lessons with him until late when I was actually learning his music. That was the lessons. Now, this dude, you talking about original music, man?
Yeah. Ooh. I got some of it.
Yeah, man. That guy, you know, and that's one of the regrets, man, that we didn't get to record his stuff, man. Because it was recording worthy, man. He has stuff in hymnals, you know, he was phenomenal.
Put you in the mind of Richard Smallwood stuff, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, you do know that the song Dr. Matty Mouse Clark did.
That's right.
I can do all things through Christ. That was Jan's arrangement that they stole.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
He
Jan
told me
with the
that.
Easter Louisiana. Yeah, he did it with
He
the
told
Easter
me.
Louisiana God in Christ. And when she heard it,
Sure did.
you know, she didn't even give him credit. She didn't even give him credit for doing it. But that was Jan's arrangement.
Yep. Yep. He told me that story.
Oh,
man.
Crazy.
Legend, man.
Oh man, he was great.
Yeah. But man, I mean, they painted the picture for you how, you know, our church was. You know, it was Jan on either the organ or the piano and, you know, the choir, or my mom on the piano and the choir, you know, or whatever. Then Mr. Ray came, and then a lot of times it was bass and a group. You know, I was at that time. I was singing. I was in the group.
Yeah.
You know, man. So
on,
you know,
I didn't know you could sing.
Man, I was Mike, man. I had that Michael Jackson, you know,
got the votes.
Man, but no, that got old kind of quick though, man. So I had to go ahead and go on ahead and mess with the organ, man. I played
yes, indeed,
I played organ for with my mom for like a special music spot. Now I think that was my first time playing in church. And then my first time actually playing for the choir, I played Lord, I'm Available to You on the organ.
10 years old.
Yeah. And I was like Keith, though. I was still playing 2-finger chords. I didn't start playing 3-finger chords until Stephon. Stephon showed me my first 3-finger chords, man. Just this little progression, man. I never forget. Because, you know, that was part of the transition, man. So I'm like, dang, okay, I can actually play with 3 fingers now.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, I'm working it out. So he was very instrumental in my progress as well, man. And then Mr. Ray with just the work ethic, man, the way that he taught us how to learn music, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we got to play it like the record. So now you talking about, you know, everybody playing parts, talking about a band.
Yes. Yeah.
So Stephon, you bought those red drums to church for Reggie to play one time, and that kind of sparked everything with as far as getting a drummer. So yeah, I remember you cut Mr. Walter bringing you, and then he brought the drums in, and we started having the drummer. So we have to incorporate that bass and keys and organ. So, I mean, we had to be meticulous on how we learned the music because we couldn't sound like clutter because it was something new to the church. So we had to be on point. And it couldn't be, you know, something just totally not together because, you know, we probably would have got a lot of complaints. Drums would have been gone, all that. So, you know, I appreciate him for teaching us how to learn music and, you know, being a stickler for playing things the right way. So, you know, so man, and then he was the one that brought us around the guys who I thought were stars because I had been watching their video all the time. Mike and Rob and Minster Maurice and Keith and Terry and Chris Keith, man, all these musicians, man, that, you know, I didn't really know other than from the tape. So I thought they was famous. I ain't know nothing. I ain't know better. So first time meeting like Mike, now man, they came to the church, man, the male chorus, man. And I was like, wait, I got the album. Like these the guys from off the record, man. So I'm putting faces with everything, man. That stuff, man, that blew my mind, man. So to be able to get to work up close and personal with them, man, was great. Being able to play with the Third Boat Cheetah youth choir. Bro, those days were like phenomenal, man. Being able to work with Mike, man. Yeah, Maurice was playing. He got to play keys on one, man. I was just sitting there taking it all in, man. Because that, you know, that's just the way I saw it. And then, you know, later on, man, you know, you start seeing people your age playing, you know, and that's when I got to meet Jermaine, man. And I was like, bro, who is this little guy on drums? Like, he like my age, but bro, he sound like a grown man. Like, bro, so, you know, we went to Zion Travelers.
Zion Travelers.
Yep. And I'm like, hey, You want to play Never Shall Forget? Reggie got on the keyboard. Like, me and him was running 2 keyboards and let Jermaine play. Never practiced with us, but he, nah, this dude is great. Let him play.
Yeah.
He already know it. You know it? All right, let's go. Man, I'm talking about lick for lick, bro. I'm like, oh my goodness. So that relationship, bro, you remember the Unique Brothers?
Yeah.
There was a bunch of us young guys that were in the Hammond area that got together and did a workshop, bro. I think it was Sean George, Desiree George. Yeah. He put a lot of us together. Who was it? George Carter, Alton Todd.
Yeah.
Teran Perry. It was it was a bunch of us, man. Just we did a workshop together in Independence, man. And it was just fun to be around people, your age,
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like the leader. I'm a little older than Junior, and of course my brother and Jeremy. So I was kind of like the leader of them. So it was just cool to see, somebody that was, around your age that take it as seriously as you do, But man, it was nothing like playing with my brothers, man. Playing with Jay and Ray and Jeremy, man. The way we had to grow up in the church, man. We grew with our choir, man. Our choir started children's choir. I was like singing all unison. Then we went to 2-part harmony. Then it went to 3-part harmony. That was kind of the stage, as it related to us as musicians coming up. It was just me, then me and bass, then me and drums. And we were good. We was okay, but I'm glad that they allowed us to grow. And they took, they saw something in us, and that choir, man, afforded us, the opportunity to go a lot of places because they could sing, man. I'm talking about kids singing grown people's songs.
Yeah.
So we're playing some grown. Yeah. So we're playing, like, they were so bad. I mean, they were so, like good bad. They were so good. I mean, it eventually turned from a children's choir into a mass choir, VSOJ, what it is now. It started as children. It wasn't no mass choir, none of that. It was a children's choir. And they were so
They're
good.
Going all the way back to Miss Jackson, right?
Yeah. Yep. All the way back from the church school, man. Having
school, right.
Having school, the programs and stuff, man. And all the our teacher, Miss Sandra Jackson, used to have the choir, and we would sing, like it all started from there, man.
Jason, what was the name of that song that Ray wrote?
Parenthesize?
Spot. Put him on the spot. Where the song, Ray? Where the song, Ray?
I don't think parenthesize is a word, but it's a song.
Bobby Proud before Bobby Proud.
Before the whole
song. Come on, Ray, let me hear it, bro. Let me hear it, Ray.
That's a no.
Pops.
He had to drop it on you, bro.
Bring it out, Ray. Props printed out a whole certificate, man. For Ray. Yeah. Congratulations on your song.
That's fire though, man. That's fire though, man. He definitely believed in you.
Yeah, that was just all a part of our creativity, man.
Yeah, man, for real. It's like you just don't think about all of the stuff that our parents even had to sacrifice. Because at the end of the day, y'all know we were driving our parents crazy. And I got a musical parents too. So like, I play the drums all day and my mom won't never tell me nothing. She just be like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? I go get on the keyboard or the piano and just get they don't say nothing.
CJ, let me tell you something that's crazy, right? My mom, she's a musical mom, right? But she hate loud noise. So I don't know how we have to ask mom how does she do it, because like she would come to our concerts and I think she could only last 30 minutes and she gotta go because she couldn't just take a lot of the noise, you know what I'm saying? And she was a singer, but like growing up with us, you know what I'm saying? Us growing up in the house, man, we used to spend Friday nights, man. We would sit up in one of the rooms in the house And me, Jason, Jay, Jeremy, man, we'll learn albums, man, all night. We knew the neighbors never complained, but you know, we'd go to Miss Hodge them house, man. We'd be there, man, about 2, 3 in the morning, just full blast, just going there to just rewind and going back, playing albums lick for lick and stuff like that. So like my mom, she hated noise, but she never complained about us beating on pots and pans, playing music full out and having people over, man. We always had people over doing music.
Wow. And that's crazy, bro. And like we owe so much to them, man. Like our parents, like I said, because you know they could have put us out. Like, look, I'm gonna put y'all out of here making all this noise. Look, this is a normal house, but they saw something in us, you know what I mean, for us to keep doing it. Say, man, look, just go do it, whatever. Man, this is great, man. It just feels so good to just be talking about stuff and you learning history. I like learning stuff, man. I like learning where people came from. I'm gonna go back to my thing with Jason and all the cats and Jermaine and all of these cats. When I hear them, I hear the music. And they definitely say, you know, that y'all were pioneers for them to see and learn in music. And I feel like that's one of the lost arts today. Like a lot of young kids, they hear the music, but they don't learn the music. Like people be playing all kind of stuff that it sound like, or it could be close to, or whatever, but they don't pay attention to details. It's crazy. I was just talking to Brandon about this earlier today, and we was just saying, you know, cats don't be learning the music. And when you talk to Jason, I remember the first time I met Jason, and Jason was like, man, look, we had to learn this music verbatim, bro. Like we had to learn the music. We had to spend time with this music. It just wasn't, oh, let me put it on right quick and do it. Because now you was gonna have somebody saying, yo, that's not right, bro. I don't feel like people say that anymore. I don't feel like people, hold
we
each
didn't
other
get that, yo, that's
accountable.
not right. We didn't get that.
That was the, the mild version. But I don't feel like no one is being, holding each other accountable. And I'm grateful for the older people that was on our heads. Like, look, if you're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean? If you're gonna learn this music, learn these tunes.
Let me speak to that real quick.
Go ahead.
Like us growing up, man, and everybody that's on here, they held us to a standard. Like, you a Hodge, you a Carr, and we know what your parents would do out here. Mr. Maurice, Mr. Michael, Robert Cox, everybody that's on here, and even others, Mr. Alpha Lee, is like they're like our other parents. Like they took us. It's a real family thing, because in this area, the whole transport area, man, they treated us as family. So it wasn't like, oh, just because you started out, we'll let you slide. No, it was no sliding at no points. I remember picking up the bass, and I only been playing bass for maybe like a couple of weeks, man. And I decided I wanted to come out and come play. And Mr. Mike, he was like, nah, your daddy would do this. So hey, if you ain't playing like your dad, you put it on down. You know what I'm saying? Man, I used to sit there and learn stuff. Pops would be trying to teach me something, and he'll only give me 3 tries to get it. If I didn't get it in 3 tries, he'll walk. You go figure it out. I used to get my hand slapped if I didn't have the right fingering. I used to slap my hands.
Thank God for Jason.
Yeah, Jason was my saving grace, man. And like that was the upbringing. Like nobody in the area, man, even going to A meet, spreading out the A meet, and working with some of the musicians and even Scandar and them and stuff like that. Man, if you grew up in Tangipahoa Parish, you was held to a standard to play how you were supposed to play it right. And just like Minister Maurice was saying, like about being the best. So that was like the thing that just was always instilled within us. I feel that we kind of dropped the ball with the younger generation, because they don't let you talk to them like how we got talked to. Like, our feelings got hurt.
Just say it what it is. They're soft.
Yeah, our feelings got hurt.
Soft.
I quit playing bass so many times. I was like, man, I'm gonna go play basketball and football,
Yeah.
But I wanted to be so much like my dad. Man, I couldn't walk away from it. I actually wanted to play guitar, but man, it's just that, hey, I took that, like watching Michael Jordan Last Dance. Like, that's how they treated us. They pushed us. It wasn't if you want to do this, you got to do it at a high level. It's no slacking, you know what I'm saying? And man, even bring it up, man, Lamont Jackson, bro, when he came back to the area,
Yes, sir.
man, like that band, when they finally let me in, they let me in.
I had to vouch for you, bro.
Jason and Jermaine fought hard. They let me in because, man, they were like, man, nah, we know his daddy can play, but I had to come behind people like Latans Whitaker, man. That was like, man, that's one of my idols on bass, man. I had my dad, man, but I wanted to be like, I wanted to have the groove and the swag like Latans Whitaker, man. Shouts out to T Weed, man, and man, Sean Willis used to give me a hard time because, you know, I had a little edge to me that I got for being with Jason, man. And it was just like, yo, it wasn't no slacking. And I only been playing for like 3 months. And that's the thing that they didn't know. I was only, when I came out playing bass, I had only been playing for like 3 months. And that was dudes that like Pops always pushing me. And when he handed me to Jason wasn't taking it easy on me. He was like, man, here, learn it. And you know what I'm saying? It was always, when I got home from school, he was picking up the bass before I even went outside. I picked up the bass for a couple hours, then I went outside, you know, played and hung out in the streets, you know, and stuff like that. But come back in, pick up the bass some more. So, man, that was a testament to our upbringing, bro. We didn't get no slack at all.
Hey Ray, I'm gonna add to that, man. Like Ray said, man, we didn't get any slack, especially me coming up. Like I told you, I come from a lineage of just musicians, singers, and my uncles, the Sweet Home Male Chorus, everybody know who that is. So my uncle Lee, man, he was no tolerance for you messing up. Him, Michael. Yeah. But let me speak on my uncle. He's gone, and I owe so much to him.
Man, talk about Uncle Bo.
But I'm gonna speak about my Uncle Bo. There's a story on him, man. I remember playing with the junior choir. And I remember exactly what song it was, but I couldn't get the timing down right. He kept telling me I'm speeding up and I'm slowing down. And so he's fussing him with these mean looks. Everybody know how he's looking at you like, you need to speed up. You need to slow down. So I called myself, all right, well, since I'm not playing it right, I'm going to just stop playing. So if I'm not doing it right, I'll just stop. Mark Anthony got up off the organ, and those that was at Sweet Home know, he came and snatched me up. If you in your life stop playing while we're in church, you will not play drums again. But things like that, man, that really shaped me and made me the person that I am now. And throughout my playing career, man, it was like, man, there wasn't no tolerance for, man, being soft about, you know, if you're messing up, he only wanted me to get better. Mm-hmm. You know, it took experiences like that to see like, hey, you're not where you want to be, but you keep pressing. And then let's go to all those that inspire to be musicians, all the young guys that are coming up. Hey, man, you may not be where you want to be right now, but man, hey, keep pushing, put the time in, practice. Take somebody telling you something, you know, take the correction, because it's only going to help you get better. When somebody can tell you, hey, you're playing this wrong, hey, this is flat. Hey, listen, humble yourself and listen, and that makes you a better musician throughout. You know, so that was the key to my plan. You know, people like Michael, same thing. You know, no tolerance. I played. So of course I started out with Sweet Home, and I went on to, we had the Hart Boys. I don't know if y'all remember the Hart Boys.
Oh yeah.
That's our family group.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my brothers, cousins. So we had Terry Hart.
That song used to be, man.
The jagged edge of gospel.
Huh?
Yes.
So, man,
you know, Jermaine, let me piggyback on something that you said.
Go ahead.
You know, and you're right. When you guys were coming up, we didn't allow you guys, you know, and I want to listen at me chunk. I want to throw Tony McRae's name in there as well.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You know, me myself, when you guys played with, I didn't have, you know, you talking about a band. Man, I didn't have a band until the 3rd District, or, you know, I'm talking about a real band. Man, it was years. I had to play by myself, you know, with me and Robert. But you're talking about a real band. It was not until 3rd District and Ray Carr came to Mount Vernon. Then we had bass. I consider that a band. Yeah. But I was a perfectionist. And you could not play under my direction if you couldn't play.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I pushed you guys. First of all, I knew the background of your family. I saw the talent that you guys had, but I didn't want y'all to play lazily. And I always wanted you guys to take it serious what you were doing. And I can say now, you asked to be honest with you, you guys made me who I am. Y'all made me look good.
Yeah.
Y'all made, y'all did. Y'all made, and I, you know, all of you guys. I remember when I first heard Jason, I'm like, okay, he's got the style, he's got everything, but there was one thing missing. I'm gonna teach him how to be churchy. That was my thing. Teach him how to be churchy. Keith the same way. You guys have influenced me even in my time. And then Tony McCrae, he came along, and I'm like, who is this peanut head guy? You know, and Tony would learn stuff like it was on the album. So I just wanted to throw his name there. But Jason, what you don't know, you probably know now because I talk to you a lot. I have great admirations for your father. I used to, as a kid, sing at Seventh-day Adventist. He never knew that I just watched him. I just watched him. Then I used to go to Pit Grill and eat. I remember Mr. Eugene used to work at Pit Grill late at night. And I would go in there and just watch this man, and he was so humble. And then when I found out he was your dad, I'm like, I love this dude even more.
Yeah.
I just want you to know, Mr. Eugene, I've got great admirations for you. Thank you. I never shall forget my last story. I never shall forget. I went to, Jason, we were in Madisonville. Remember, Jason? We was in Madisonville at Reverend Burris's church, and I was doing a solo. And I was calling out chords. I said, hit F, go to B flat, go to so-and-so, go to so-and-so. And man, you were right on it that night. You were right on everything, played the song without even hearing the song. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
But that was a great, man, that was a great night. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. The one thing I want to do before I leave, the one thing that I want to do is I wish we could all get together for a reunion. And just chill and enjoy ourselves and bless God that night, night of service. Maybe earlier get together. It would be good for me to play with Soul Man again.
Yeah.
That's nothing but a setup right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what this is for. It's for bringing everybody together and starting, you know what I'm saying, a new community, just bringing everybody together from the whole Louisiana. That's the whole purpose, just to bring the whole Louisiana together so we can do one big old festival or just a chill day, just get everybody together, just get to knowing people, I'm just talking about stuff, because you find out a lot of stuff about people off the instrument. You know what I mean? You find out what type of person they are off the instrument. And I mean, that'd be great. That's a great idea. And I'm down for it. I know everybody else is down for it, especially now that you realize we've been locked up and in the house, and you say, okay, well, I definitely could have been outside, or you appreciate being outside way more now than you ever did. And just to being around people. So I mean, I'm with it. I for sure I got the last people that I did it with, the Baton Rouge people. I definitely want to bring my people in. Like I said, man, we just let's bring Louisiana together. It starts, Baton Rouge was first, Hammond was second. Hopefully we're going to do New Orleans. I'm going to get together with my homies in New Orleans, and we just bring everybody together, Louisiana and other places. So, like, I mean, let's do it.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Man,
I'm going to go back to you right quick. Just being in a musical family, just like everybody else, that's crazy. Everybody got musical families. I mean, this was no mistake of us being musicians, just being from the families that we're from. So how was that growing up, like in the house where everybody doing music, bro?
Well, man, my parents are pastors. My mother's a pastor and my father. So, man, it was
rough.
So I didn't have a choice. I had to be at church. I had to be at the service, and my parents' service, and that's who conditioned me, man, as far as my endurance I'm playing. Like, we had 3-4 hour service easily. That was light. That was a light.
That was a light day.
Yeah. But man, my hat's off to them, man, because they trusted me at a young age, man, to travel, with different people like your Michaels. One guy I do, man, I really have to, he's not on this call, but he definitely should be on here. Lamont Jackson. When I say that's who shaped my plan as far as what I did, a lot of structure. And I was pretty decent, pretty good. But when it comes to being solid, being a disciplined drummer, man, it was like, man, to play as a band, when I really learned how to play parts, it was because of him. He shared the road and traveled with John for a long time. But he came back and started his own thing here in our area, man. And it was like, man, this is what I've been wanting for a long time, Just like I say, just growing up from group to group, just being in the church, you played, but you wasn't a lot of structure. When we was from, wasn't a lot of structure. So you have the opportunity when you hear these workshops, when you got Kenny Mitchell coming down, bring in the David Andersons, the Jonathan Ards come in, Melvin Sanders, my big influences, but not even to look at them, but even right at home, the Robert Coxes, man, when I tell you, I owe this dude so much, but that's who I came, it's like Robert Cox, then it was Jermaine.
Yeah. That's where you got your first drum set, huh?
See, there you go. See, there you go.
I remember.
There you go. So I was getting there.
I remember the night he gave it to you.
Yeah. There you go. And hey, I still got to give you your Dave Welcome video back, Robert.
Yeah, I've been wondering what's that, because what we did, look, the same video went to J. Marcus.
Yep,
it went to Darnell. It went to a lot of people, but we got that at a workshop over at Mount Vernon when Kenny Mitchell came down and bought his drummer, and he was telling you that about the video, and I went and bought it.
Exactly, man. So Melvin Sanders was that drummer, man.
Yeah.
Big ups to him, man. I always, man, that's the guy. I was like, man, these dudes are super solid. Then on the New Orleans end, it's like I said, coming from where it's from, we didn't have too much we can look. We just feed off each other. But man,
hey, you can talk about Larry.
You got the Bookies, you got Alvin Baptiste. Then come on the scene, this dude that was so sick on drums, John Jones. Group he was playing was Total Praise.
Well, I'm going to the house right now. Pick me up at the house.
It's like, bro, these dudes on another level. I gotta step my game. Solid, but man, I got to step my game up. But back to Lamont, man. But yeah, definitely, man. I learned so much and got the exposure and just the opportunities to do what I do, man, to share my gift. And much respect to him and Brad.
All right, so
I always been that guy, man. I want to pass on that I gained. I pass it on to like the J. Marcus, the Jeremy's. Man, it was an honor just for them dudes to be sitting there in the rehearsals and just knowing that they hunger for what I was given. And everything that I knew, I try to pass it on to them. Because you get musicians, man, they don't want to show you, especially because they think you're gonna become better than them. I hear these dudes out there. When I hear Jeremy out there, I'm like, bro, this kind of product of me. And it makes me proud to see them doing their thing. I mean,
that's right.
They ain't just playing; they really doing their thing. So that makes me happy to see them dudes just carrying on, man. I can't forget about my bro Steph. Bro Steph. I always remember days coming to Sweet Home, brother dudes bite his tongue when he play. Had that. Man, that was my dude there.
Stephon, your son is in the thread right now. He's going off. He said, I got videos and all type of stuff right now. He's going off.
Thread. He's awesome.
Yeah, man. So, bro, hey, bro, I love what we're doing here, man. And this is, man, wonderful thing that we put together. Man. I'm glad to be a part of it. And, bro, that's what it's about, man. Us sharing together, man. Nobody hating on nobody, bro. We all just trying to come together, be brothers.
Man, we wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for everybody, man, and more. It's a shame that we couldn't get everyone. We reached out to a lot that we weren't able to get them. But man, that's the thing I can say about our area. It always been a healthy competition. The competition was always there. and you knew the competition was there, but it was healthy, and it was always to push the person to be great, man. And
Right.
like I said, you know, that's the thing I experienced pretty much statewide of Louisiana, man. It's like going from, you know, Baton Rouge to New Orleans, and you know, people taking me in, like people swear I'm from New Orleans, but I'm right here from Hammond, and you know what I'm saying, just to be able to blend in and get the love for all those guys, you know what I'm saying, that poured in. You know, I love Louisiana. I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world, you know, growing up and being here from this place, man.
But you're in Houston, bro. But you're in Houston now, though.
Hey, man, you know, hey,
you want to move.
We need you here, man. We need more base players.
And I try to leave it for my man. I got some young God brothers out there, man. Shemaiah and Kenaniah Turner, man. I remember watching them before I even picked up the guitar. I used to watch my dad teach and train them, and I remember their dad, man, Brother Turner. God bless him. Man, it's just, they was like some major inspirations, man, and to be able to watch that generation, although they started before me, I was able to get out and play and do my thing before them. But to watch them to get out and spread their wings now, man, it's amazing to see our younger generation come up, man, and that we have some that's really doing great out there and upholding the standard that we set here. And that's the thing that I like to see go forward, you know, like that standard that we had set, you know, here in this area, you know, and spread it throughout.
Yeah, man, I still play with them guys, man. Shemaiah and Kenaniah, I play with Kenaniah pretty much every week, man. But when I first heard them, man, they was on opposite instruments, man. Shemaiah was on bass. Kenaniah was on guitar.
Shemaiah is my favorite bass player. Bruh, I'm telling you.
It was crazy, man. We played Bless the Lord by Ty Tribbett, man. And you talking about going, like those guys, man. I'm trying to play because it was an intense song, and I'm trying to remember all the licks, but they was back there killing. My head was turned around the whole time. Like, y'all been holding all this in the seats all this time? But Shemaiah and them, they told me, man, they would just memorize every song that we did throughout church, and they go home and play it, man. So that hunger was there in them, man, and it's just great to see what they're doing now, man. They've been traveling the world, and you know, I'm just glad that we were able to, you know, cross paths, man. Really, man. Those guys are great.
I got a question for J. Marcus and Jeremy. As far as being the little brothers coming up, and y'all got bigger brothers, like, did y'all feel any kind of pressure of being good on your instrument, or like, were you did y'all feel any pressure? You know what I mean? Was it pressure knowing that your brother is good and you got to be good, or did they push you extra harder because you was the little brother? Like, how was that?
I felt kind of like a toy when I was younger, man. My brother was like, "You can play. You can actually play." Well, okay, every day at 12 o'clock, we gonna play. Before you go outside, before you go in, man, he shaped me so much, man. Really shaped me into the drummer that I am today, man. Just always constantly putting new material in front of me, pushing me to.
Some kids were just like Marlon and Sean Wayans.
And they actually look like Marlon.
That's definitely followed me all my life. But man, yeah, man, it was just a blessing to have a brother, man. I think because he played and my mom played so much that I can't even remember my start in music, where I started. I just always remember playing, just always, man. It seemed like I was always playing, and I finally get my shots to really play in church and stuff, and but it was never pressure. It was more like motivation, man. It was more like you gotta do this, man, because I'm on this level at a young age, and you young and you got potential, so I'm gonna make sure that you play. You know. Big Jerm.
Yeah, man. For me, shoot, it wasn't really pressure. It was more, I can put it, learning experience, man. Because when I went with my dad and stuff like that, and me and Ray would be all over the place or whatever, Mr. Mark Cook, probably one of the scariest drummers I can remember.
Yes,
but he knew that I love drums.
No playing this drummer. I'm just playing.
But Mr. Mark Cook, man, he would always be like, man, you ready for the old man? And I'd be like, nah, Mr. Mark, I ain't ready for you. He's like, all right. And he had that Jerry curl, man. You know what I'm saying? Had the little mullet Jerry curl, but man, Mr. Mark, man, you know.
Cookie Monster.
Man, Cookie Monster, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he would always, you know, kind of encourage me, man. And then when I got older, I wasn't at the level, man, but J. Marcus really put his arms around me. When I say really, I mean really put his arms around me because I was the big brother to J. Marcus. But by him being younger than me, I started later. So he showed me a lot. When I say if it's some stuff I just didn't understand. And J. Marcus would just be like, I got you, man.
I promise
I got you. And then when he taught me, it'll be different from what he taught me, but it'll be unique. You know what I'm saying?
He'll flip
and
it around and show that to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah.
Push, man, I promise you, it was a constant push, man. Me and Jeremy every day for, I say about, I can't even name the years, at least 5, man. Every summer, every day of the summer, bro. Shed all day, man.
We will bug the elders at our church, man, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Can we get the key to get in the church? You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
And we get the key to get in the church and shed. You know what I'm saying? And I think one time Jason saw me kind of progressing. You know what I'm saying? He saw me kind of progressing, man. He pulled me over to the side. He said, man, Jeremy, you growing, man. Keep at it. And Ray, still to this day, Ray, you know, he'll see me playing somewhere, man, and he'll just be like, yo, you can do this better. You can do this. You can do this. And not once did I snap a bite on them, you know what I'm saying? Because I took it all in stride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate everything that they did not say and everything that they did say. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it all.
Is Ray finally giving you your props now since he told you?
Man, look, actually,
No.
I'm the late bloomer. He the big brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made me, y'all remember, I tried to play drums. They made me, them two made me quit playing
Yeah,
drums.
CJ Ray was a drummer.
They wanted to be a drummer.
Yo. Yeah, I walked away from drums. Nobody
man,
playing
we
it
had
over
too
there.
many drummers, man.
Yeah, man.
That was my way out the choir.
Back in those days, you picked up the bass.
Oh man, thank you, man. But that was my way out the choir though. Like I was always trying to find my way out the choir, and you know that was.
Man, we had a few drummers in this area around our age, man, that just used to push us in the back real hard.
Yeah, man.
Real quick, man. Marcus Hart, bro. I was 10 years old. I was about 10 years old when I went to a little small church. It was a little small church then called Sweet Home up in Albany. And they was playing a shot when I walked in, man. And they let the band stop and they let him go. Man, you couldn't even see the dude on the drums. You couldn't even, he was so small, bro. I said, man, I got to get up there to that big sound after church, man. And ever since I went up there, bro, we've been locked tight. Another one, Jamaria Bubba Gross.
Yeah, Bubba.
Early, bro.
Yeah.
Early in the game, a monster.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he knew what he had, man. He was from a little town, A-Meat, bro, where they didn't have many
Bubba's a monster, man.
Huh?
Yeah.
Bubba's a monster.
Oh
yeah, man.
So tasteful, man. Musical, bro.
Yeah.
Musical. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And then you had the cats out there, man, like Victor Muse, man, out there and they meet. God rest his soul, man. Victor. I remember one time Jermaine seen me play. And I learned how to do doubles because I always used to watch J. Marcus, man. And I would play my doubles flat-footed. And Jermaine was like, Jeremy, nah, bro. I said, well, this is the only way I can't get it the right way. So Jermaine showed me an exercise, bro.
Slide.
2-1 on the kick. 2-2-1. I practiced that, bro, for maybe like a month. And when I say, man, Jermaine, I appreciate you for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I took it in stride. I wasn't like, you know, man, you know, let me stop playing. Nah. And that helped me so much, man, to where, you know, my foot developed, man. And then I think Ray was the one. He was like, boy, your foot sound like a cannon. You're not nowhere close to J Marcus though.
Man, stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. I was nowhere close to Jermaine in that sliding killer foot. I don't know how you do it, bro. The foot was moving across the field like this. That's quick.
It was the Camco, man. So y'all boys don't know about that Camco.
Oh man, that was the best foot ever, son.
Yes, indeed.
Melvin Sanders.
That's all I used to
Much
see
props for the Camco.
Yeah.
He turned me on that Camco.
He definitely been talking about the Camco. He definitely been talking about the Camco.
Camco.
You need to dip one of them in bronze.
Yeah, man. See, I was always taught the technique of when you're playing heel toe instead of flat foot. I mean, you get more power. It's just like if you just playing like this with your wrist, but if you're using wrist, you got more power. Same thing with your foot. If you're just playing flat foot, it's weak. And so I was always taught, man, when you raise that heel up, man, you coming with it, and you got to be able to kick. So playing people like Michael, man, is like you can't play soft. Like, come on, I need a little more. I need
for real.
I'm breaking the cymbals, man.
Mini bass rigs and pop strings, man.
Yeah,
this with Mike.
As long as he's doing
on
this,
the
you better bring
hands.
it. As long as he's doing this, you better get louder.
Hey, I gotta give some props to one of the coldest bass players that's on here, Mr. Ray. That's my ex-father-in-law, but man, we still family, still all love. But look, man, well, I tell you, man, this dude used to like when I got an opportunity to play with him, man, it was like coming from not playing, having a bass player growing up in the Baptist church, you didn't really have a bass player. But
right.
To have the opportunity when he comes to musicals, I go to 7 Day and he's playing, man, it's like, man, I didn't know I could play this, but it was because of the bass player, right? It's like what I go saying with Keith. It's like sometimes you get so caught up into what the other musician is doing. Man, but man, when I say an older cat that was just always solid, and just,
Mr. Ray, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know much about reading music and all that stuff, but like when I was telling you about how I learned how to play with my brothers and with Carl McCaskey. Now, what we would do, we would sit down and listen to a wax record or whatever it was. We'd sit down and listen to it, and we'd try to replay it back just exactly. We wouldn't miss a note. And so what I developed was I had a pretty good ear for music. So I could sit and listen, and I could I wouldn't know a lot about notes. I didn't know nothing about notes until Aaron Stampley took my bass guitar and took some paper on it. And all he did was taught me the open note, and then, you know, F, G, A, B, B flat, C, D, and E, and on 2 strings. And all he told me was, "Seven, now everything in front is flat, anything behind the note is sharp, and your octave." So, and I learned from that. Now, if I had been, when I started out, and I didn't learn fingering until I went to Alaska, and I was in the military. I was playing with a band. I didn't even know fingering until a guy come from Oakland up there, temporary duty, and he was playing with a band, and he saw what I was doing. He said, "You're not doing something right. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write you out a pattern." And he wrote me out a fingering pattern for me and the other guitar player's name is Eddie Kendrick. And we worked on that pattern. So I didn't have a good start, but the guys that come up under me, I taught them, I got them started the right way.
Hey, Jason.
Jason. When you and I played together with the Southern Stars, it sounded like you were playing right to me.
Man, I had my fingers crossed every kind of way. Shouldn't have had
well, listen, I didn't know no better because I was, what, 7 to 8 years old? So, hey, I didn't know no better. So.
Hey, Jason, tell them about that time we was over there at Dag Reeves, man, Third World, and Paul's on the 4th string, broke a string, ain't stopped playing the stride, 3-stringing it out, man.
Like y'all used to say, like y'all was saying about the drums, man. It wasn't no excuse. String pop, sure. He improvised, the song's still going. You wouldn't have never known he popped the string. The only way you knew that he was pulling it. But the notes didn't stop. I'm like, man, shoot. It just adjusted, man.
One thing Mr. Ray told me, and it stuck with me when I'm learning music all the way up until today, I still use it. Youngsters, y'all could really use this. If you can say it, you can play it.
Thanks.
That's how I learn music. That's how I learn music till today. I try to mimic it with my mouth if I could, even hard chops and stuff that's crazy. I just sit there and listen to it over and over and just let it get into my mind. And once I'm sitting here mouthing it, I know I can get on the drums and get a good attempt at it. You know? But I use that just period, man. If you can say it, you can play it. I appreciate that, Mr. Ray. That was a lifelong lesson I used today.
That's fact.
Oh yeah.
Miss Linda, you said that you can read music and I mean or whatever, but did you find did you want to read it? Like did you want to read music, or were you cool with just learning it by ear? Which one was the best for you?
Well, I started off with reading it, so I really didn't know that I could play by ear. I didn't know. I started off formally with just notes, and it was only when I was in a pinch I was playing for a church, and they started singing a song, and it was not in the hymn book, so I didn't want to just sit there, so I just started fumbling, on the keys, and I found it, and that's when I found out that I could play by ear. So it developed from there.
So
and I also
did you put the reading aside and just go strictly ear? Okay.
No, I didn't. I love reading. Okay. I love reading. But I just like music, period. I give my mother props. I would play till late up in the night. That was something that I just really loved to do, and she allowed me to do that. And I like to read music. I also like playing by ear, and it was playing for the other churches. My church, mostly we did hymns. So the playing by notes was what I did mostly. But when I started playing for other churches, a lot of times they wanted some gospel, things that were not in the book. So I developed my playing there, and I like it, but I kind of lean towards playing by notes.
Yeah, that I was definitely curious about that, because it's funny how it works sometimes. I know some people that's reading is good, but they don't have no feeling in their playing. And then I know some cats that don't know nothing about theory, but can get on there and got the best feel in the world. So it's funny how that works.
Absolutely.
That's why I wanted to ask you about that, because like I said, it's a tricky situation, and I don't know, I guess you got to just be brought up into, having that feeling alone. Because I know before I started, and I don't know about the other drummers on here, but when I first started playing drums, I didn't learn rudiments till like high school. I didn't know what a rudiment was until high school. So when I got in a band and I learned the rudiments, I was like, oh, that's what this is. Okay, cool. Right. And then you start learning. It's like, okay, well, I can take this and apply it. But
I didn't know rudiments until Jermaine Hart showed me the paradiddle, man. That was it for me. That's once again, I don't know, it's something with the hearts and the shouts, man. It was really good at shouts, man. They played the shout, man, and they broke the music once again, let Jermaine go, and he played the single paradiddle in so many different ways and never stopped, bro. He had the stamina, like you said, that stamina you got from your mom's church. And yeah, I think it was just a spirit in that church, man, because your mom wasn't even there on Mondays, and we used to do like 4 or 5 hours, a whole service at rehearsal, man.
Yeah.
But man, bro, the
police had to come.
Yeah, right.
So the police shut us down plenty. I mean, every week they was coming out. Had a neighbor next to the church, man, used to call police on us every Monday. Mm-hmm. The next Monday come, we still back.
Same time, same place.
So Jermaine, tell him where you get those rudiments from. Who taught you?
Hey, Steph was the man.
Come on, man.
Where did we both get them from? Randy who?
Oh, Randy Lanier. You're absolutely right, man. Most man. That was rudiments and things like that. I already knew how to play, but man, I was playing at this Caucasian church where my mom was going to before they started pastoring, and so this guy offered to send me to some. I was like 12. He offered to send me to some lessons. I'm like, man, I don't need no lessons, man. I know how to play. So man, I started to this guy, man, and he just opened up a new world of playing to me. You know, it was like any other drummer that liked to play. If you're a gospel drummer, like rudiments is boring. Started me out like, hey man, I want you to sit here, man, and just, you know, singles. Just do singles for 5-10 minutes.
That's it.
And I'm there sounding sloppy, and he'll get there, man, just flawless. I'm like, man, how the heck is hands so fast? How you get that endurance? But I didn't know it. I mean, as I got older and the more I done, it was like, well, this is when you hear things like this. This is how you implement it to your plan. This is how you apply it to your plan. So those guys doing it's not that complicated if you learn your rudiments. So I learned rudiments from Randy Lanier, man. And much props to him. You know, I knew how to play, but to add to my plan and things like that I didn't know that was that important to play. Drummers, learn your basic rudiments. I mean, learn your rudiments. That's gonna take you further. That's gonna, man, your plan will flourish like never before.
That's vocabulary. That's drum vocabulary. If you know your rudiments, you're gonna know how to speak on drums.
Hey, absolutely. And that's like I said, coming from where we come from, you know, that was no structure, man. You just play, you know. You feel, you know. But man, when you get that, man, like you just said, man, it broadens your plan so much. So to my nephew in the back, I see you back there, man. Mike, man, that's the dude there. He got next. That dude.
Oh yeah, he next. Period.
Yeah,
Mike next.
Back there.
He's next. He's next. Period.
We'll see about that.
I like that, Jay.
Hey, hold on, Jay. Hey, watch it now. Watch it. But I'm gonna go to Stephon. So when were you introduced to rudiments? How old were you?
Man, I was like maybe 13 years old. I didn't stay on the drums long. I went from the drums to the organ, but I was introduced to rudiments by Randy. I met Randy. Randy, he was in the band in Southeastern. I heard this guy play, and I'm like, this guy that hate music in Hammond. And so I'm taking a little piano, you know, I knew how to play a little bit, but trying to learn how to play the drums, but like Jermaine, you know, I was missing the root of everything. You know, if you don't know your rudiments, you're missing the root of everything when it comes to play. So when I went there, I didn't know that he was giving lessons then. You know, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna take lessons. So I took lessons, and Randy would come in there. He would show you the single stroke, double stroke, all that stuff. He's gonna show it to you slow. Then he'll speed it up. Then he wants you to play for 5 minutes. If you messed up in those 5 minutes, start all over. And you can go a whole lesson just playing the single stroke.
Yeah.
Yep.
He gonna make you start all over. And he taught you, you know, the skill and everything, you know, about the drums and everything. Man, when I tell you that guy was awesome, man, that guy was awesome. And he was a little old short. Randy might be what, 5 feet, 4 feet tall, Jermaine?
If 5 feet. I don't think he's quite 5.
Yeah, and he was short. He probably was the shortest thing in Southeastern band, you know?
Then he played bare feet.
And when I tell you, man, that guy could play, man, and I never knew why Randy didn't travel the world, but he was just content in what he was doing.
Yeah.
But man, Randy, he could have traveled. When I tell you he could have traveled the world,
yeah,
and be well known, man, he was awesome, man.
Hey man, I think Mr. Randy did, because if it's the same Lanier, it's a guy in Mandeville that I met.
Yeah.
Lanier Music. He got
yeah.
lugwood sets all over the place. He said he got from traveling the world. Vintage lug.
When did he pass, Jerry?
I don't know. I think he still might be living.
Oh, I thought you said that you passed. Oh, I thought you said you passed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I know Lanier Music is in Mandeville.
Yeah, that's him. That's the same guy. That's
That's
him.
the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go in his shop, man, it's like a museum of lug wigs.
Yeah.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
vintage ones.
Yeah,
That's
So,
crazy.
he used to be
yeah,
endorsed
man.
with Ludwig, man. He used to have this killer double bass kit.
Okay.
Tell you, man,
Okay.
like have the opportunity to play on them when you 12 years old, like man.
Yeah, yeah.
So he used to have that endorsement with him, man.
Okay, yeah, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's crazy.
Yeah,
When
That's
I
crazy.
tell you, man, that sound he had, bro, was just, man, I've never heard that sound before. When I tell you, awesome drummer, awesome. I got a chance to learn, my movements and stuff from him. And so, man, I was all these years I've been playing, didn't know what I was missing until I met him to learn the, movements, everything, your skill, how you hold your stick, how you, exercises and stuff like that. He said, you might play for 10 minutes a song. How you gonna last like that? So I learned from him. So at that age, and then that helped me with my skills. So, but I didn't stay on the drums long because I went over to playing the organ, man. Hats off to these.
Man, I appreciate that. I was able to get gigs once you moved on, man.
Oh man, I'm not on the video with Woodrow Hayden.
Oh man, stop it. Stop it, man.
Hey, I'm not on that video. I knew it was the blood. I ain't on that video.
Mr. Cox, when you was coming up on the drums, were you into rudiments and stuff like that? Did you even know what you was playing, or you was just playing?
No, man, it was just me and Michael. We was doing our thing. We listened to tapes and hearing beats. Michael playing, yelling, screaming, and howling. No, no.
And that's crazy too. That's crazy.
But we know. But
music.
we knew. Yeah, we knew music, and he knew when I was messing up, and I could hear the mess up and come back from practicing and practicing.
Yeah.
But just knowing rudiments and reading music, no.
Yeah.
No. No, it was the anointing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some people just born to do stuff, bro. God gives gifts, and I feel like musicians are touched to have some very powerful gifts. Because I tell the homies all the time, man, we have the power to change the atmosphere in the whole room, just from a chord or from a cymbal or from anything musical. Like the whole room can just change that's our superpower. You know what I mean? Just being able to change the whole room. And just, like I said, just me thinking about it, I didn't learn rudiment till 9th grade year. And I was trying out for the All-Star band. And I think they call out a rudiment. I'm like, what's that, bro? He showed it to me. I was able to play it back just from playing drums. But I was like, I've never seen this before in my life. Y'all got a drum set around? Like, but it's good, man, to know different sides. You don't have, you learn how, how to read music, you don't know how to read music. At the end of the day, if you know how to interpret music, then it's cool. But man,
I will say this. The one thing that I'm hearing from this panel and listening to the stories and everything that these guys have gone through and learned, including myself, is the one thing that I think the younger generation do not have. And that is the love for it in the heart.
Yeah.
To have a heart for it. And I think that's killing a lot of our younger musicians in the generation. They want the big bucks, but they can't play in every key.
Mm-hmm.
They can't play the hymns. They're only one-dimensional. You can't go to the Catholic church and play because you just have one genre of music. And I played for them all, Catholic, Presbyterian, and whatever, you name it. I've been there. I thank God I had the ability to read. I can't see nothing, but but I, and that's what most people didn't know about me, that I could really read music, sheet music. I sight read and vocal and sight read music. but I'm legally blind in one eye, and it kind of slowed me down from the reading aspect. But if you put something in front of me, I'm gonna piece it out. But the thing of it is it was in my heart. Music was in my heart. Music, the guys, the panel, the people that's on this panel, it's in their heart. I heard Miss Hodge say when the choir strike out on the song, when they began to sing a song that she didn't know, she didn't just sit there but it was in her heart to accompany them. You only do that when something is in your heart. I've seen musicians when people sing a song, they didn't know it, they didn't even try to pick it up.
Because we want to embarrass ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I believe that. At least just hit the root chord.
Hey, Mike, you know y'all used to run it when you hear that dude slide that finger down trying to find a note. Everything they're waving on.
Hold up, brother musician. Hold up, babe.
You right about that. Hey,
hold up on the bass.
Be like, get up.
Mike.
Hey, son, what are you doing? What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
Mike, you had to play for Robert Lee Richardson.
And y'all want to hear something crazy, man? My dad. I took my dad with me to church. I took my dad with me to church one time, man. It's crazy. And the keyboard player was transposing. And my daddy looked over his shoulder and said, "Hey, man, you transposing over there, boy?"
Hey, with the glasses like this, Jeremy?
Boy, you transposing? I said, "Well, Dad, how can you tell?" He's like, "Man, what he playing ain't matching what I'm playing."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, yeah. But
Mike.
You guys were great, man. Yeah.
If you could play for Robert Lee Richardson, you could play for anybody.
Anybody. Oh my God. This dude would change 5 keys in the middle of a song. In one verse, bro, he'll jump 5 keys. I'm serious. And if you can play for him, man, you can play for anybody in this world. I kid you not.
Robert Lee was a cool cat.
Yeah, he was too cool.
One of the best.
He was
Yes, indeed, man. But I appreciate you guys. I really do. I don't get a chance to play as often no more, and that's a good thing because y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Hey, Mike, we want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity, man. Man, even the times that we travel with, and play for free, that's one thing that a lot of cats didn't get, like even with us coming up, man, we played at our home church for free and we loved it. You ain't have to access.
I played enough for free. Y'all don't have to play for free no more.
That's right.
Yeah, we used to get
hamburgers and French fries,
Yes. Hey, Ray, you remember? Ray, you remember we was in the 3rd district and I was pushing you at Macedonia. I think you had cut your finger. And boy, me and you was about to fight that night, man. You remember?
Yeah. You was always hard on me because, man, me and you always had the battles, bro.
I was hard on you, man, because I played with your father. And your daddy was good, man, and I wasn't going to accept you being less than him.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
I always talked about your dad. And I'm like, dude, I played with your dad as a kid,
Yeah.
And
I'm still chasing the ghost, man. I'm still chasing the ghost, man.
He was good, man.
Yeah.
But those are some great days, some great times. And I want to thank you guys for traveling with me, coming to play.
Mike, thank you, bro.
I couldn't pay you guys,
Thank you, man. Shoot.
Man,
you put your arms around me, brother.
Bro.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Put your arms around me, man.
Yeah.
I'll take their money. You can't pay them. I'll take their money.
Boy, don't you owe me for something? Yeah, Pops, we do. There you go.
Hey, I want to let y'all know something about Jason Hodge while he on here all quiet and everything. Jason is a closet bass player, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. He's
That
a
don't
closet
surprise me.
bass player. Yeah,
That don't surprise me.
He,
J.
after
Marcus.
Pop showed me, J Marcus play bass as
J.
well.
Marcus play, yeah.
Yeah, J. Marcus.
You know,
Yeah.
The Hodge family, man. The Hodge family, bro. They just, man, I get mad at them.
Oh
I'm
man.
like, man.
I guess
I
that's
think
why I
I
love
come
them
from a
so.
musical family now. The Hodges, they play
Oh
every
man.
instrument.
That's they part of the Levitical priesthood, man.
That's it.
Hey
That's
Ray.
it.
Hey Ray. Big Ray.
Yes, sir.
I
Yeah.
want Big Ray, your dad. Big Ray. I want you to know you and Miss Linda and Mr. Eugene. I want y'all to know I am an honorary 7-day Adventist member.
Yeah, glad to have you.
That means we get a free fried turkey wrapper.
I sang every Sabbath when I was a kid. I would come over there every Sabbath morning, and they would have me doing something when I was young. So I remember those days when Jan was playing, and and one of my favorite songs, I would say, "Sooner We'll Be Done with the Troubles of This World." Oh my God! So just know that I'm SDA as well.
There you
All
go.
right. Yes.
So yeah, man, CJ, this is why we rep Hammond, man. No matter where we go, we don't say that we from New Orleans, even though we love New Orleans, man.
Yeah.
And I met some great people, man. We from Hammond, man. Everything that I learned right here, man. When you talk about studio and talk box, man. Terry Hart, man. Terry first.
Yeah,
remember
that's right.
At the when they used to have the thing at Southeastern over the summer.
Yeah,
Southeastern Workshop.
That's right.
Yeah, they did 99 and a half won't do.
Yeah.
Terry had that vocal talking, boy.
He
I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking now. What he got over there?
Yeah.
As soon as it was over,
exactly.
I was running over there. You know, I came to all of those, and I got to play at the last one. Yeah, him and Tony McRae was playing on that one.
Yeah.
Bruh. Man. But bruh, I had to go and watch all of y'all in action, man. David Morris and Jan and Mike and
I remember David.
I had to go watch it because all that music was coming back to the choir. So I had to learn it anyway. So I just come out, I ain't never sang. I just be in the back listening, and bruh.
Well,
I learned a lot of stuff just watching, man.
Well, look, guys, I've got to get off here. I got to submit a lesson into my class. I'm working on a Bachelor of Arts in Christian Studies. I've already got a Bachelor of Theology. So y'all pray for me as I dig in these books and submit this essay. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mike, look, before you go, man, one person we forgot to bring up, man, Lou China. That was the female drummer that was keeping up with the best of the best.
Yeah.
Lou China, dog.
Yeah, but her brother was awesome before he got shot.
Yeah, man.
Awesome before he got shot.
Yeah, man.
He was awesome, man. I tip my hat off to the people who gone before us, who inspired us, and you young guys coming, behind us. And Ray, you was in that. Ray Jr., you was in that young group, but you old now. So, Jermaine, you old.
I'm old.
You come on to this room where I'm at.
Hey, I welcome it with open arms, man. I like being old.
So, hey, man, CJ, TJ, or whoever, Jay.
CJ.
All right. CJ, I'm just as crazy as ever. Thank you, man. Thank you. Jeremy, thank you, man. You and I played together for a year or so in Bethlehem.
Man, thank you for putting your arms around me when you did, man, when I was a teenager, bro. That shaped my playing when you took me around, man, to Springfield to kill you, man. God bless you, brother. Thank you, man.
So, hey, man, I appreciate you guys. I love all of you. And, hey, man, let's do this again. Let's make it happen. Let's work on that reunion, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's work because, I will say this. God is calling a lot of people home.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do, man, is let's cherish these moments. and just let your family members know that you love them. Let everybody know you love them, man.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know I'm glad that you enjoyed the dinner set we put together.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Say it again, Mr. Eugene. Say it again.
I just want you to know I'm glad that you enjoyed the dinners I put together for you.
Yes.
It's
And
a
they were
picture.
hey, they were good. I hate they tore that building down too, man. Cause I would come back over there, man. That food was good. That's why I came.
Yeah, would y'all like to meet my wife?
Yeah.
Yes.
My wife,
Come on,
Wendy
Mama.
Williams.
Yeah, let us meet her.
Yeah.
Wendy
happen.
Anastasia
They ain't
Williams.
gonna, no, ain't gonna happen.
That's funny.
Yes.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, Mama.
Fellas, let me also say thank you again for this opportunity.
Reese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr. Reese.
our hearts are filled with, and I know Michael, myself, our hearts are filled because you young gentlemen have come and honored us just to have a conversation with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know exactly how you feel about us. And
Yeah.
let us tell you this, because we see the greatness in all of you. And listen, we are proud of you. And
Yes.
we are
Thank you.
comfortable because we've left you in charge.
Yeah.
And we thank God. Thank God for all that you've done, all that you're doing. And then we're getting ready to shout about the things you're getting ready to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Fellas,
Mr. Maurice, for that.
until we meet again, God bless you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike.
Take care. Yes,
All right.
Hey,
DJ,
let me say,
thank
hey,
you.
Jeremy, CJ, man. Jeremy, appreciate the call, bro. You know, this was everything. Again, I know Mike and Maurice already said, man, but man, for you guys to pay homage to those that, you know, pay the way for us, man, that's great. CJ, man, what you doing in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas, man, keep doing your thing, bro. For real. I hadn't met you, but I seen you on several gigs, and I'm back. I'm like, man, that dude is cold blooded.
No, bro.
Devin. So man, Devin and I share. I see him. I run into him in the city in New Orleans. So I run into him, but I seen you at Varsity. I believe you was with Mike Foster Project. I believe I think you was playing with him. And man, I'm like, yeah, this dude is killing.
Yeah, bro, we couldn't get everybody who we wanted in, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you know, it's this thing right here, man. We just want to give y'all flowers while y'all living, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You know, a lot of people paved the way, but few influenced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it.
And we just want to tell y'all, man, those that we appreciate y'all, man. Everything that y'all did for us. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all, man. We love y'all. Real deep.
I'm gonna add one more person that's not on here, but man, this is my fam. I got much love for him, but Marcus Hart, man.
Yes, sir.
That's my little bro. That's my first
Wild
cousin.
Bill.
Like my little bro.
Yeah.
So man, keep doing your thing.
We ain't forget about him.
Probably listening, but man, much love here. You know what you mean to me.
Jamil, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there would definitely be a part two, man, so we can try to get the rest of everybody else on, man.
Hey, Jason. Just one thing before we all leave, and CJ, as they were saying, thank you for having it on your heart to do it and put this together. And thank Jason. I want to thank your parents for allowing me the time to work with you guys when you were much younger. But what I paused to say, we talked a lot about the past, we talked a lot about the present, but we didn't speak a lot on the future. We just spoke a lot on the future and the people not being attentive to what they're doing. But Jason, you have a young man that's standing right there on your side. I just want to give homage to that little guy that's standing on your side. I had the pleasure of coming to a service and he was up playing, and we know what J. Marcus could do. I couldn't get J. Marcus to go on the drums for nothing. And I see why. That little guy on your side. That little guy on your side.
Man.
I'm glad you have him on here. And I want to pay homage to him. You really have yourself a real talented person that's standing on your side. I pray for him, and I pray that he stay focused, which I know that he will because of the family and the background that he have. But you have yourself something there.
Stay humble, Mike.
Yeah,
Look at him.
he's a handful, man. Y'all pray for me.
Yeah.
And, man, he's really not any trouble, man. But he says it all the time. He's my shadow, man. He soaks up everything.
Yeah.
If I go in his room, I know what he's doing. He ain't doing nothing bad. He's listening to Calvin Rogers or somebody that he's influenced by. He's always trying to pour into his craft. He's into the software now, Logic. He's tweaking his own sound, So
hey, come get with me, nephew.
He's continuing to grow, man, and I just encourage him.
Oh yeah.
He pushing his old.
I want to put it out there because he is the future.
For sure. He pushing his old uncle in the back, man. He pushing his old uncle in the back.
I couldn't get you to go up there.
He pushing all of us.
You were like, no.
I said no, man. And then I knew one thing about him that I love, man. He's always prepared. His ears are so big.
Right.
He's always listening, so he always knows songs. Me, on the other hand, it was a whole little gap I missed out of gospel music. I stopped listening, man.
Right.
Like when they call those songs, he's like, yeah, I know that one. I know that one. That's always him. So I said, if he's up there,
I love
it.
I love it. I love it. You know me and talent and seeing talent, I love it.
Y'all always been that way, right?
It's gonna be real large.
Yep.
Real large.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
I got
sir.
a couple more nephews, man. They the future, man. They into this production, man, and into their own thing, creating their own lanes and trying to do this music thing. Is the one thing I know that they have is the love in their heart, man.
Right.
It's evident, bro. And I like you said, it's the future, man.
Definitely
future, man.
Yeah. So I mean, we just have to, do as we said earlier. We have to take our arms and wrap them around them and let them know that we love them. That it's not really a competition thing. You're in competition with self. So as long as you're doing the best that you could do and learn what you can learn and put it out there and people enjoy what you're doing, that's the blessing. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, man. We was talking about that earlier, man, and Ray hit on it and said like we feel like we kind of dropped the ball in that area. I mean, I would tell, just encourage us, man, just to keep a watchful eye out for people that we can, pour into.
Right.
Because this thing got to keep going, man. Some people poured into us, man. It's our responsibility. Man, it's easy it's easy to say what the young people aren't doing or what they're lacking, but what are we doing to help them, man?
Help them.
We have to be the solution, man. So I would just encourage us to just keep our eyes open, man, for the next one that could be you. Don't be so afraid to pass on knowledge to feel like okay, that's gonna push you out the way.
Yeah.
I mean, when your time is up, your time is up anyway.
It's up.
The knowledge needs to be passed on.
Right.
That's fact. Closing remarks from everybody.
Thank you, CJ.
Oh no, not me. Listen, I don't need no thank you. Thank y'all. If I couldn't do none of this without y'all, I tell you, they've been thanking me forever. I don't need no thank yous. I just appreciate y'all for helping me share the vision because I can't do it by myself. J. Marcus and Jeremy both text me simultaneously, bro, we got to do one, bro. We got to do this. I'm like, all right, cool. So whatever y'all need, I'm going to help y'all. No, we want you to do it. I'm like, me? What you mean? All right, cool. I just come sit on and listen, but I just love listening and gaining knowledge because, like, I learn so much more watching and listening to people talk than I do playing. It's like you can play, you can hear stuff. You've been hearing the same stuff forever. But when you talk to people that give you the insight, I feel like that goes a long way as well. So, I mean, just like Brandon said earlier, me talking or somebody talking and giving you knowledge, that's shedding too. That's shedding too. So, man, like I said, man, just I could not do none of this without y'all, without people being, what I'm saying, hey, man, I don't mind giving back. Let's do it. I couldn't do it by myself. So I appreciate all of y'all for pouring into everybody on here and for pouring into me tonight, just because I've learned so much stuff about everybody and some people that I didn't even know, some people that I heard stories about, but now putting the faces to it, it's like, man, we family now. We stuck with each other. So like I said, let's keep going and make it bigger. Like Michael said, man, let's make a reunion out of it. Let's bring everybody together. Let's, let's set up workshops like they used to. Let's all get together because we got enough knowledge within our state and within our community to pass on to the younger people. You know what I mean?
And the
So
bros.
looking for somebody else, or pull up YouTube. We got YouTube right here, right? So it's just on us.
And look, the bros, man, in New Orleans, man, all our brothers out there, man, you know, we appreciate y'all, man. The brothers that we got in Mississippi, Castro, Ontario, Lucia Live, man, and all them cats out there, bro, man, y'all all shaped us, man, and we appreciate all y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if we forgotten anybody, man, charge it to, you know, don't take it out on us. You know what I'm saying?
Charge it to our brain, not our hearts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
my boys out in New Orleans, man. The franchise band, man. Bad Band, Brandon, Alvin, DJ. Y'all know y'all my brothers. Ishmael, man.
Ishmael, yeah.
Joe Johnson, man. Just Kevin Lampton, bro. Just a mixture of musicians up in my second home, New Orleans, man. That definitely shaped me, man. Definitely.
Y'all got next though.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait to see it.
Even our era, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to
Javon
see that
Brown,
one now.
Kendrick Marshall, man.
Yeah, AJ.
Right. AJ Littleton,
John
man.
Jones.
John
Ramsey.
Jones, man.
That's
Jermaine Williams. Shoot,
And
Jerry
Jerry
Henderson,
Jerry
Bookie.
Henderson, that's right.
Donald
Like, all
Ramsey.
those guys, man. When we
Yeah.
Donald Ramsey, once we, came to the city, man. Big Mike Robinson, rest in peace, man. Joey Britton, man. All those guys, man, were very instrumental and just
Old Hezekiah
broadening our
Brinson
ears,
too,
man.
man.
Hezekiah Brinson,
Yeah, man.
that's a whole other story, man.
I must stay before y'all come on, huh?
Oh, you hungry?
This
Hey,
guy,
we
man.
wrapping it up, Pops.
Hey,
Thank the
even
Lord,
though
bless the cook. The
even
older
though
she
my
gets,
boy
the
from
better she
Kenner,
look.
hey, even though my boy from Kenner,
Oh.
Sean Willis,
Smooth.
Willis.
Yes, sir. We're gonna have to do we're gonna have to do one just on a new beginning, period. Like this couldn't cover it. We just need one just for a new beginning.
Showers family,
The Showers
Titus,
family,
Titus
Titus.
Showers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, young.
Bobby Showers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Bobby,
right.
man.
That's right.
Yes, sir,
It's so
man.
much,
It's
so much rich
so
history,
many,
man.
So much, bro.
Yeah,
Sold out.
We
this is
all
why
connected.
Sold out.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Man, I mean, Hammond is just so rich, bro. That's why we
Yeah,
rep it,
man.
You know, say that we from New Orleans or anywhere else. We had so
Albany,
much,
baby.
much,
Albany.
man. Albany. Hey, Hammond's the hub.
What was it?
Hammond's the hub.
BWP
I mean, if we want to get technical, shoot, the tall Benny.
The tall Benny. That's right. 1064.
1064.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say it.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Hey, John, you gotta leave him with the slogan, bro.
Hey, man.
Jermaine
Don't
been
y'all
talking
forget
about
this.
the slogan, bro. Jermaine been talking about the slogan. You got to do it.
Here we go. All right. Remember, in life, you can't get to where you need to go without a car. Pops.
CARR.
What?
Pops.
Pops got you. Pops got you. Pops say womp womp.
Hey, man, this was fun, man. I appreciate all y'all getting on. We'll be scheduling the part 2 real soon.
The reunion real soon,
Yeah, the
man.
reunion,
We
all
gonna
that,
get
man.
on that ASAP, man.
Yeah, as soon as the corona over, we ready.
Man, we working on we gonna get it going now. I mean, I was thinking about something like Mr. George right there with the Heritage Building. You remember he used to have George Perkins, what he used to do right there at Z-Mary Park, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We used
That's
to
what
have that
Jermaine. That's what Jermaine supposed to win and play for the Williams brother, but he was too young and Mama wouldn't let him go. Jermaine was up there. Jermaine was up there killing. Williams brother was like, we got to have him.
Yes,
and killing in the park.
We could do something
Mommy
like
was
Family
just
Day.
too young.
Yeah. You're right, Rob.
That's fine.
Like Family Day in the Park, rejoicing in the park. You know, we used to do that kind of stuff back in the day, man. It'll be nice to bring some of those things back, man. And that'll probably be a good time to roll it out, especially during the summertime. So
Right.
So Rob, we know you very instrumental with getting some of the stuff with the people down in the city. And
most
everything.
definitely.
So, yeah, get with you on that ASAP, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I say, once the corona over, we'll be able to do more because I mean, the it's such a dangerous pandemic that's going on that, you know, we just got to be mindful and stay social distancing and, you know, try to do what we can to stay healthy and, you know, it's killing. So, you know, we got to do what we got to do. But I mean, this is a blessing right here. This is a blessing. I mean, I've had so many things that happen in my life. As you all know, I have a son that went on to play professional football, still in the league. And just to see you guys go on and do the things that you're doing, it means the same thing to me. It means the same thing to me for the CJ Marcus and Jermaine and Jason and you guys just doing what you're doing and Jeremy doing what he's doing. I mean, it's big to me. It's big. It's big. Words just can't express it.
Man, thank you.
That's what it's all about.
That's the word, Rob.
Miss Linda, what you got to say, Miss Linda?
I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I tell you, it was really good going back and it just feels good to you know, even though we're in the present day, the modern day and everything, to go back and to see where it started. And I'm just overwhelmed with everything and everybody. And I'm just watching intently to see what's going to happen with you young people. I'm still about to lose my connection because I have no battery, but but yes, I'm just thoroughly overwhelmed with everything. This was wonderful, and can't wait until the next one. I probably won't be on it, but I definitely will be tuning in.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Well, God bless you all. You all wonderful. We love you.
Love you
Bless
all.
you.
Love you.
Thank you, Pops. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Carr, Mr. Pops Ray Carr, what you got to say for us?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. As you can see, I'm trying to get my eat on too.
I appreciate y'all for hanging in with us because we was planning. It was like, look, we don't want to have them on too long. You know what I mean?
Right.
But y'all hung in for the whole time with us, and we really appreciate that.
Right.
I think you're a great interviewer, man.
Listen.
Great facilitator. There you go.
The crazy part about it is I just listen to what y'all say and I just go off. I don't have nothing wrote down. Like the first time I was telling Jeremy, I wrote down like 2 pages of questions, but it don't be fitting when I want to ask. So I just listen to what y'all say and I'm like, okay, well, let me just piggyback off that because it's important to know.
That's true talent.
Right.
Oh Lord, thank y'all, man.
CJ, man,
y'all.
you had this vision, you started this thing, man, and it was me seeing
man.
you in Baton Rouge. The way you handled that, man, I knew you had to be a part of our call, bro.
Yeah, man. This thing is this is you, CJ. Like I've been telling you.
Yeah, you got to keep it going, brother.
Yeah,
I appreciate y'all for having my back, bro. Like that's
yeah,
like
man.
I said,
Always,
that's
bro.
real important. Just having that support and having your brothers have your support like that, and you feel that support, it's a whole nother thing. That's why I say, can't nobody tell me stop. Can't nobody throw no shade or do anything that's gonna hurt me because I know I got y'all support, and it's you know that's bigger than anything, bro. So
Hey, CJ, one thing you see here, man, you see all realness here. No,
yeah, that's facts.
no fake, no phony people you see on this. Nobody on here.
That's fact. And I feel the love, Jermaine. That's the crazy part. You can feel the love. And even though we're not in the all same room, I feel the love. Like, so I appreciate y'all for letting me into y'all family, man, for real.
100.
Man.
Yeah, man. Well, y'all be good.
All right.
Good night,
Everybody, enjoy it.
Thank y'all.
Be blessed.
Bless you.
Till next time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
man. Jason, take care of my boy.
Hey, I got it.